Hello, everybody, and welcome to Ring Post Radio, the only podcast where your headphones die right before the show starts, and you gotta work with a brand new microphone just so you can goddamn hear yourself. I'm the voice of the tasteless, Ryan Knightsey, and hopefully you can hear me. And I'm glad that I will be able to hear my co-host today. I'm going to unmute his microphone, Scotty Edwards. Welcome to Ring Post Radio. How are you doing this fine Sunday morn?
I'm doing pretty well. I slept well.
I did too.
Yeah. Look at this. This is the
Look at us.
First Ring Post Radio in history.
Hold on, let me get my hot one sauce away. Look at us.
Where both hosts are well what's the word?
Well slept. Well rested.
Yeah, well rested. That's the one. Anyways,
hello. What did you do? Let me ask you this. What'd you do? Now that I'm free from the microphone restraints, I'm going to use a lot of hands. These are my Trump hands, by the way. If you can't see the YouTube video, these are my Trump hands.
What do you mean? What did I do? I went to sleep.
Did you just go to sleep, or did you have to do a bunch of stuff?
Well, most nights I drink like ZQL or stuff, but last night I didn't, and I just went all old natural.
The old classic.
Also, it's like cold now, and I sleep better when it's cold, so that's probably why.
What temperature is the house kept?
Usually like I bring it down to 68, but the windows are open now, so it's whatever the world tells me now.
Yeah, we keep the house during nighttime a nice 68 degrees, and I slept well last night. And the only difference, really, Scotty, last night is I changed the comforter to be I just removed the comforter completely and just put a blanket on, and I slept perfectly.
Yeah.
Apparently, so this is the thing. Apparently, you can sleep with a comforter or whatever that is too light. If the blankets or whatever are not heavy enough for your body, you'll just toss and turn and be uncomfortable at nighttime. And that's
why people do the weighted blanket.
Yeah, that's why some people do the weighted blanket, because they need even something heavier. But yeah, I figured that out. And apparently that helped me a lot. I felt way much better. I feel energized. I feel invigorated. I'm a little sweaty already, but that's because I was sweating right before the podcast started because my goddamn headphones died.
Yeah, you've had to do some pivots. But hey, you figured it out. You did it. You did your job, which is good.
What is Ring Post Radio without a few pivots? Does that make sense?
Yeah, sure.
I don't know. Well, we got a decently sized show. Not a lot of topics on the run sheet per se, but all of them are going to take a good amount of time, I think. So we're going to keep them 30 minutes apiece, and that's it, baby. Yeah, we got a lot of things to talk about here today. We are, of course, going to discuss the confirmed. Obviously, this topic has been talked to death in the past couple days, but we're still going to talk about it because we haven't. The AEW TV deal has been confirmed with Warner Media, so we're going to talk about that and what it sort of means for the company and our thoughts on it. AEW Wrestledream is happening this Saturday, so we'll also preview that show for AEW. WWE's Bad Blood, not featuring Bad Bunny. I mean, you could have had them there. That would have been fun, maybe a little tie in there as well, but it's fine. Bad Blood took place last night in Atlanta, Georgia. I was not there in person. For reasons because tickets are dumb expensive. We are also going to discuss Stardom Nagoya Golden Fight that also took place Saturday morning our time, which was a pretty good show, I think. Obviously we're not going to get into that first, but I thought that was a pretty good show. But other than that, anything else on the docket that we need to get to, Scotty, before we really crack our knuckles and get into this darn thing?
No, but I didn't know about the TV deal for a day or two because I've been mostly off of everything. So that's my funny note of the day that I was like, oh, look at that. They got a TV deal. Yeah. Did I watch Dynamite? Begrudgingly. Yeah, I did.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But that's how I learned. And then I was like, oh, I should probably be a little more tapped in. But did I change? Did I alter? No, I didn't change it or anything. I've been
You're unwavering, Scotty Edwards.
No, yeah, that's my nickname. Don't wear it out.
Do you know about the details of the AEW TV deal?
Yeah, I know the details because my friend asked me like 75 questions. I was like, I don't know, I don't care. And he's like, well, I need to know. I was like, all right, well, here's all the information. You're welcome.
Well, perfect. Well, let's dive into it. Now knowing that you don't know and you don't care, let's dive into the discussion of the AEW TV deal because it's I don't know. I don't know if I'm calling this a great TV deal. I'm not going to say it's bad, obviously, but I think it's really good. But I'm not going to go as far
That's the spirit
to say it's a great TV deal because there are things about it that I think are not concerning or disconcerting, but also doesn't matter because the big TV deal announcement came via Variety at first, and then Hollywood Reporter, and then a bunch of everybody else. And the details are thus. AEW for a 3 to 4 year or 3 years with a 4-year option.
plus an option.
We'll be getting well, it was originally reported $150 million per year. That number has actually been updated in a weird way to be $185 million on average per year. We'll discuss that in a moment. But the details of the deal are that Dynamite and Collision will remain in their current homes and networks on both Wednesday and Saturday, respectively. So Dynamite is staying on TBS for the next 3 years at minimum. Collision staying on TNT for the next 3 years at minimum. Again, that 4th year, which will be a price increase as well, is the option for Warner Media. Additionally, both Dynamite and Collision will stream simultaneously on Max for U.S. subscribers starting in 2025. I know you're wondering, when in 2025? According to a person on Hollywood, it's the Discovery CEO of U.S. Networks, Kathleen Finch. She told Hollywood Reporter that the launch date for AEW pay-per-views on Max is to be determined because the technology to offer the shows is still being developed. Does that also include the live streaming aspect of things? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But at least the price tier thing of the pay-per-views, which I haven't brought up yet, is still being worked on. We don't have a specific date yet, so we'll see on that. AEW content that airs on any Warner Brothers Discovery network will also, Dynamite and Collision, will also be available to stream on Max on demand. Now, this is a big talking point as well. And the big part about it is, number one, AEW content airs on WBD. There's the rumor floating around that there's a third show being optioned out around. We'll talk about that. This only applies to Warner Bros. Discovery. If that third show exists, it will not be on Max, according to this deal, according to the wrap. Now, the other aspect of this is the content library. How much of the content library is going to go on Max? It says, Dynamite's Collisions will be on Max on demand. How far back does the content library go? Does it go back to just the pay-per-views? Does it go back to the TV and the pay-per-views? Does it not go back at all? We'll find out, I guess, at some point. And I also bring that up because that's an example right now of what's happening with CW and NXT television. Right now, if you look at Peacock, Scotty, look up NXT television. Apparently, you can't find it. It's not on Peacock anymore, NXT TV. So if you want to watch NXT, you have to use illegal means, apparently. So
or the CW app.
Or the CW app. Well, the CW app doesn't have the backlog.
I thought, well, no, it has the new episodes, though.
It has the new episode so far. It's the question of whether or not they're going to upload the backlog to the CW, which honestly...
Wait a minute. So if you go on Peacock, the backlog's just gone?
Apparently. That's the rumor. I have not verified it because...
I'll verify right now.
Hit me with that verification. Hit me with that verification.
NXT. Oh, shit. Yeah, you only get takeovers.
Yeah, takeover. Do you have
backlog of NXT is dead.
Do you have NXT UK? I know
you damn right I do. You damn right I do.
Let me strap in for my Walter matches, baby. Strap in for my early Rhea Ripley.
That's crazy that they just got rid of all of NXT.
Yeah, NXT TV, I guess the streaming rights, I guess technically is in
They have the
CW.
NXT All Star panel from 2015.
Oh, thank God.
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah. So how that applies to AEW, I guess, is the concern of, is the backlog going to be on Max? No one really knows. And I think to a certain extent that also expands to Netflix in the new year of like Raw and stuff, like what's happening with all that. So we'll talk about that. Starting, quote, later in 2025. They don't have a specific date figured out. My guess is later in 2025. It's going to be all in. AEW and Warner Brothers Discovery offer live pay-per-views on Max at a quote-unquote discounted price per event, with all marketing and promotions of those pay-per-view events exclusively centered on Max. And then the new deal includes, quote, enhanced distribution rights across social media, as well as potential new AEW programming on linear and digital platforms. Neither Rampage or Battle of the Belts was mentioned in the story, so no one knows what's happening with those. It's safe to assume they will no longer exist. And additionally, there is this third television option that is being bandied about, aka people are obviously discussing it as AEW Shockwave, and the leading theory on where that's going to go is legitimately Fox, not FS1, but Fox. The belief is that this deal of TNT and TBS is for cable television. The network television of things is still up for grabs. Fox is a network television program, so or network, I should say. So if they want to, get AEW Shockwave, a third show, onto somewhere, they have to get onto network television. Fox seems like a total possibility. So that's a big old TV deal. Scotty, hit me with some of your thoughts. What do you think about this? There are so many different aspects of this that I find interesting, of the story that I find interesting. What do you think so far about the AEW television deal now that's been formally announced?
I'm happy it's over.
You don't want to keep hearing Eric Bischoff saying that the AEW is going to die and no one's going to exist. There's nothing going to exist this longer. They're not going to get Warner Brothers pay them.
Yeah, I don't want to. I'm happy that people don't have to guess anymore. I'm happy it's just done.
Well, at least for the next 3 years.
For 3 years. Yeah, it's not long enough for my liking of having not to hear about it, but it's fine. It's fine. Well, it gives us 2 years before we have to start hearing about it again, which I guess is enough. I don't know if it's a good deal because I don't work in that world. But 185 million sounds pretty good. And then of course,
they say that the 185 million makes them
profitable.
Yeah,
which is good. Of course, you look at the pay-per-view aspect. Little upsetting, only because I feel like it's gonna end up being like, oh, it's $15 off, and then you look at like what is the max subscription service price, and it's like, oh, it's like $15 for like no ads or something, and it's like, okay, sure. But at the same time, I mean, you avoid hopefully commercials like Peacock does. So, if that's the trade, it might be worth it. But yeah, I mean, it's a good TV deal. Happy for the AEW fans that could have their victory lap this week, somehow still ruined by people saying it's not a good deal. I don't know. This is the reason I'm not online anymore. This week, or at least this week, I'll be back. But I think the biggest thing for me from the deal is that, besides pay-per-views, because that was the one thing I was waiting on, is that you're getting all that money for just the 2 shows, which 4 hours of TV, which is obviously a good thing. I don't know if there's added money for when the pay-per-views kick in or not. I know Dave kind of said something along the lines. Obviously, with them still paying for pay-per-views at the end of all this, it seems that way. However it may go, but it's probably the deal.
However, that pay-per-view deal is like constructed too. Is it like Warner Brothers buying the rights to the pay-per-view stuff late 2025 or whatever, or at least part of it, right? And then like the split of the discounted price being split between Warner Brothers and AEW, or all of it going to Warner Brothers. It's that sort of question.
It has to be. I mean, it has to be a win overall for AEW fans. I would say. Ryan, I'll ask you: is it a win in your eyes as an AEW fan?
I mean, it's definitely a win. You get television. You get television for the next 3 years, right? I think
Sure.
having the company be profitable is obviously a win. The amount of star power and the amount of alleged money that they've been spending on these stars for the past couple of years, to a point where like they became no longer profitable and now they're immediately profitable again. Obviously when AEW started, they're operating at a loss, like all startups. But now that they're a profitable company in 5 years, it's something to be said of like, this is a successful wrestling promotion, and as far as we know it, it's here to stay. And not just as as an AEW freakazoid like I am, Scotty. I think that's obviously great for the world of wrestling, in my opinion, that this second promotion exists. Now,
I'm happy you saying your opinion.
WWE fans can disagree with that. I think some New Japan fans will disagree with that. But I'm happy to see that this platform still exists, in this thing. But yeah, the money amount weirdly originally reported by Variety is $150 million per year, and then as Dave and a bunch of other people update after the fact, I wonder who upgrades it to $185 million a year. I don't know why it was originally ported as 150 and bumped up to 185. 150 I think still makes them profitable, but I don't know why. My guess is that the 150 is the TV specifically, like the TV and the simulcasting and all that stuff. And maybe like the 185, like that extra 35 mil is maybe the pay-per-views. That's my guess.
Perhaps, yeah.
Especially since like
simulcast is obviously a big deal.
Yeah, and that's where I think the simulcast is a big deal. I think it's very good. It's very good for them to be on Max. I would love for the back catalog to be on Max, but it's also these.
Dave said it's going to be.
Dave has said it's going to be. Okay, I haven't seen that written anywhere, so I haven't heard Dave's
Dave confirmed that it would be. I ended up listening to Just Dave about this because I was like, I'm going to assume he knows everything.
Oh, yeah.
And he said
upgrade the price to 185. It's like, oh, Dave knows things.
Yeah, he said Dynamite, Collision, they'll be up there in full eventually, just not day one. I'm not sure about pay-per-views though.
What about Dark? What about Battle of the Belts?
I mean, Rampage will be too, but Rampage is also dead. So I wish Battle of the Belts was dead.
Yeah, well, that appears to be dead. But yeah, going back to what you said about like potentially 150, 185, or whatever for 2 shows, a simulcast, I think that's great.
Yeah.
I think that's like great, because like what? It was 70 to 90 million across 4 television shows, I guess technically. Dynamite, Rampage, Collision, and the quarterly specials of Battle of the Belts.
Yeah.
70 to 90. If I even wanted to, what is that? Let's say a high-end 90 divided by 4. If we want to do even split for whatever reason for Battle of the Belts, that's 22.5 mil per TV show. Now Dynamite is worth, let's just go low end 150 divided by 2, 75 million. Like basically,
it's a good thing for them. It's a good thing for them. I won't share my current thoughts on AEW, and I will just attack this at the eyes of a person looking at the deal.
Save that for the Wrestledream preview.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's it's the second most profitable company in wrestling history.
Yeah,
like that's the only way to look at it to me. Like that is end of story. Bye bye. Like it's succeeded against the Eric Bischoffs and anyone else that hates this company. They've succeeded in their own way, and now it's about having to make the good thing is here is there's no more hot shotting TV. You would think now it's about getting back to, because they've had to spend a lot of the year doing that to make this deal as good as possible.
Make sure the ratings are trying to stay up steady and whatnot.
Right. Well, listen, not everyone can be NXT. I know NXT is a powerhouse in the ratings. based on week 1 on the CW, which is
yeah, based on going to a bigger market
yeah.
and TVs and homes. The first
But
week,
the CW's, I think my favorite part about the CW is everyone was like, yeah, they would have been happy with 500K. That's how bad the CW does. I was like,
yeah,
that's awesome.
yeah, it's like it's like the biggest show in CW history or something. It's like the next biggest is like 500,000 viewers. It's like yeah,
Yeah.
it's a
It's
small
like the
pond.
finale of The Flash or something, I think they said.
Yeah, they've basically become a big fish in a small, tiny ass pond that no one
Yeah.
looks. A small pond
Yeah.
that's in the middle of like nowhere.
Hey, but in terms of the wrestling conversations, it looks great for NXT.
Yeah.
Anyways, back to AEW. I think one of the important things now moving forward with them is making quality television, and I do worry about the addition of a third show, because we've seen how this has gone with 3 shows, and if it's on Fox in any form,
Yep. That's got to be number one. That's a
it has to be number 1.
network television has to be number one.
They are gonna need to do some sort of roster construction if that's the case, because you're not gonna be able to like have these 2 shows plus Collision be interesting if it's just the same people on both nights 2 times a week. Right? Like, you're gonna have to, but that's another conversation for another day. We haven't got there yet. But it is the most interesting part to me, is do they get that Fox show?
Well, no, let's talk about that show too, because the only other thing I wanted to talk about was the discounted pay-per-view stuff. That's not going to happen for a while. I think the big question there
It
is,
better be free.
well, I don't think it would be free, but I think
It'd be awesome if it was.
I think it's going to probably lie somewhere between that UFC model and the WWE model of free versus fully paid. I think.
I'm a big fan of free.
The ad version of Max is $9.99 a month. The ad free is $16.99 a month. You're saying pay-per-views are $49.99. Let's say if I wanted to pay the $9.99 version, right? That's $37. No, not $37. $39, $40, right?
Yep.
So that's already a $10 discount off the pay-per-views, quote unquote, right? So you could argue that is a discounted price, but I think
they got to be at least half off. At least.
I don't know. I think at max it's half off. Because what you're saying, $25?
Yeah, because if you're already paying for the service too, whether it be
$25
commercial
plus
free or
the
not.
ad-free version, that would be 25 plus 17. That is 42. Still a discount.
Yeah. But at least it's a discount. I got to feel the discount. I can't just be losing money at the end of all this.
And I think a lot of that discount comes down to who is making the money off of the pay-per-views moving forward.
It's got to be less than 50 overall. Like,
yes,
sub plus,
no matter what.
With sub plus pay-per-view buy.
Yeah.
If it's not, then this is stupid.
It would be ridiculous. And then going back to Shockwave.
This will be an hour or 2 hours.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that's necessarily been determined yet.
Oh God, it's gonna be 3.
I don't know if they'll be opposed.
I think AEW's product would be dead if they added a 3-hour Shockwave.
3 hours was mean. No, I think the AEW Shockwave of it all. So, Dave's talked about this a lot. He definitely says that it's going to be a network show, or at least it only can be a network show. Fox is obviously a big front runner. There's also like other places like Ion and whatnot that are still technically network shows, but who cares about those compared to Fox? I did listen to the recent Voices Wrestling episode on the podcasting app. I don't know why I said it like that. And Joe Lanza of that show has been a big supporter from years now of, if this Fox SmackDown deal is way too much money, then they can probably save a bunch of money by going with AEW and still getting a good amount of the the ad shares and whatnot, or at least similar enough. And he apparently was told to prepare his victory lap. So it very much seems like Fox could be the spot for this third show. And I totally agree with you. We've been saying it for weeks now. If AEW goes to Fox, goes to any network platform, it has to be taken seriously. Dave has also mentioned if it's Tuesday or Thursday. If it's Tuesday, you're up against NXT. If it's Thursday, you're pretty much by yourself. I don't think anyone's going to be taking seriously TNA as a market rival.
Yeah, I'd be picking Thursday.
Yeah, I would be. Would you be picking Thursday, or do you want to revitalize the sort of Tuesday night war, Wednesday night war of NXT? If you want that feeling again, that feeling existed during the Wednesday night wars of NXT.
They can't whoop that trick now, so no, I wouldn't go against that.
Have you seen that 1 week rating with multiple title matches? CM Punk.
Yeah. No, I would just put it on Thursday. Here's my ideal situation for Shockwave as someone that has watched less and less AEW as the weeks have gone on. Is 1 hour prime time, 8, 9, either one.
Sure.
And then you record Collision after.
Yeah, that's fine.
But my point is, like, 1 hour feels like prime. You can book this easy on a week-to-week basis, and it can matter each and every week. And you can lead in from Dynamite to Shockwave. So that Dynamite kind of does a lot. Dynamite, you can still do a lot of good. And on Shockwave, you can do 2 matches plus segments, 1 hour, easy, instead of 2 hours, which would be then 6 hours of AEW television.
Yeah, going from 5 to 6 hours. Not
Collision is going to make Ring of Honor look like the Indies, because they're just going to. The joke, for those who don't understand, is Collision is just going to be what Ring of Honor looks like now, and then Ring of Honor is going to be like
Ring of Honor. I think it's going to look like Rampage,
which arguably looks like Ring of Honor. But for 2 hours. So it's like
I do agree with what you said about the roster stuff. Like obviously there's been the whole concept and talking point of whether or not the roster should be like actively split into 2 separate teams. And I when it comes to like Dynamite and Collision, like I would like that, but it's not necessarily a priority. Here, now that you're like serving 2 masters of Warner Media and Fox, Fox is going to have expectations of what they want on their television show. So does Warner Brothers. So, like, it almost feels like you finding the way to like make sure both shows feel important.
Yeah.
It feels like it would just be almost easier to keep them as separate shows, like in separate rosters entirely, so that you can build up like different titles. Especially, they're going to make probably a Fox title, right? They got rid of the FTW, and now it's going to be Fox the World.
Fox the World. Hear me out here. Might be a hot take. Maybe stop naming the titles after networks.
Kind of locks
Just an idea.
Locks you in for a little bit.
Like, I don't know. I think that's a better idea than being like going on Fox and be like, here's the TNT championship. Why is it called TNT? Shit.
Well, that's like a legitimately great point. Is like, would Fox want to have the TNT champion and a TBS champion on Fox? Right.
I'm gonna go with no.
Right, yeah. So it's like, so then at that point, it's like, all right, then we need a new mid-card title belt. That is called the Fox.
It somehow means Fox will never have Mercedes Moné on their show,
right? That's the question. That's the question.
That's a thought. That's a different one. Like, I feel like that'd be against what Fox would be hoping for when they get this deal. I feel like Mercedes Moné would be one of the main people they'd want on their show. So like that brings a lot of topic points. I think, and this is always what I said with Collision, especially when like, Punk was around. I always thought splitting the top half. So like you put the Blackpool Combat Club over here, and you put,
FTR,
Punk and FTR and Joe, which they essentially did.
Yeah.
and I always thought it worked better. It's just like less people wanted to work Collision, so it didn't work as evenly. You got to even it out. And so to compare now, you're going to have a second heel faction via MVP and Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin, while also having the Blackpool Combat Club. So I feel like that's an easy split up. You have 2 women's titles, another easy split up, I think. You have the international title that would be the one that goes to Shockwave. Sorry, they don't get the Osprey matches anymore. It's like things like that. You got to split at least the titles, because I think that just sets a precedent for everything else. The world champion can travel,
I think, I agree. I think the world champion has the ability to travel.
Though
my pick.
That'll just be Moxley by the time it would happen, or someone. So who knows? But yeah, I think it's a fun topic point. Obviously, it could just all go to hell and nothing happens, and
or it goes to like Ion, and it feels like who cares?
Okay. Like, I'm not watching. I'd be like, I'm not watching Ion. Who do you think I am?
I can watch Ion. I don't even know where that is. What even is on Ion? Let's look up Ion's television. What do they even have? Well, obviously they have the WNBA, which they have a ratings bonanza over there.
I actually didn't know that.
Oh yeah, they have. I don't know if they have all of the WNBA. I'm not entirely positive. But they have the WNBA, and I know for a fact, like I said, a ratings bonanza for them. They have a bunch of shows. They have a bunch of shows, and was it always called Ion, or did it change from something? Was it something?
I don't know. I haven't heard about Ion in years.
What was that accent?
I don't know. It happens. It happens on accent. Okay. You can understand.
Yeah, they have multi-year agreements with interesting. Ion Television reached a multi-year film agreement with Warner Brothers Television Distribution in 2008. Interesting. I assume that probably ended though.
8. I don't know if you know this is 2024.
Yeah. Oh, Ion also apparently ran WWE Main Event in 2012.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
2012 to 2014. Apparently. That's actually interesting. I believe they also have the National Women's Soccer League heading to Ion as well. And they have the multi-year deal with the WNBA.
So what you're telling me is Shockwave's going to be an all-women's show?
Hey, it could be. Would you be opposed to that?
Just the basis on the first 2 things you've told me.
Making it like a women's athlete, network. Would you be opposed to that?
I mean, hey,
CBS title, but that's fine.
The Ion Championship.
Sure.
Does that not roll off the tongue?
Mercedes Moné saying something like the Ion Champion for an icon, something Ion Icon or something there.
Maybe just don't name it after the network. Can't stress that enough.
But yeah, I think it's a good deal. I don't know. I was maybe expecting the content library is a confusing one. There's so many different aspects of it that aren't known, like the content library. Like if we're saying that the content library and all this sort of stuff is part of this like $35 million edition, if that's the pay-per-views and the content library, that feels like not a lot of money. But it's also like, well, then how much is the discounted price? It's like all these things that obviously they haven't worked out yet, but they have in theory agreed to, like in contract agreed to, but they just haven't figured out the details because the technology doesn't exist for Warner Brothers yet on Max.
Yeah, that's awesome. Love that, by the way.
I love not figuring out the technology and agreeing to that and committing.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
At least the plan is to get it done in a year, but who knows?
Yeah. See you in 10. I think my favorite thing about this deal, well, not my favorite thing, but it is fun to remember. Like, this is a great deal, right? For AEW, it's a great deal. And then I was thinking to myself, like, after I saw it, it's like, how much does Raw and SmackDown make? And I was like, oh, right, they do singular deals. That's ridiculous. Like, just the idea of it's ridiculous to me. Because I was like, I feel like Dynamite and Collision could make more money just because of the ratings they do. I understand SmackDown and Raw have been around forever, but like that just like hit me. Like the realization. But wrestling's making money, so that's a good thing.
Wrestling's making money. I do think if you want to do an AEW Freakazoid victory lap, I do think that
I would never do one of those.
I think the AEW television had like a bigger multiplier than like Raw and SmackDown, but obviously not combined.
Well, I think they're gonna have a bigger multiplier than even like UFC. So, which isn't necessarily saying it's better.
No, but they're more valuable, quote unquote.
I wouldn't say that would be where I landed. There's two shows for less money than one Raw.
That is also true. Yeah,
not even half, actually.
More wanted, maybe. I don't know. Something. There's something. It is more something. I just don't know.
It grew more.
It grew more. That's good.
I guess.
It's probably good. It's also the other thing to say, like, obviously AEW, this would make them extremely profitable. But that also gives them the ability to just sign more people for bigger deals. So we might be able to see.
Great.
Well, if you want to look at the AEW landscape of all, they have more money to throw about, so they could probably take more WWE big time stars, offer them even more money. Probably not still net, AEW deals or not WWE deals or whatever, but still have the ability to offer them way more money.
To me, it just means WWE's gonna have to pay more.
Oh, probably.
That's what it means.
Which is a win for obviously the wrestlers. So guys like AJ Styles that has their contract coming up.
Right.
Kevin Owens, I believe, is also another guy that has a contract.
Kevin Owens has made a lot of money because of AEW. Because I feel like his contract has come up like 3 times since that company started. Yeah. And now he's going to make more. So good for him.
And you wonder why WWE had forced like every single wrestler under the sun to renegotiate, sign new deals, sign new contracts, and all of a sudden, like every week you see, oh yeah, this person, Nikki Cross, re-signed for a multi-year deal with WWE. It's like, all right, Nikki, I mean, you could have made a play and try to do something. That's fine. You're doing great stuff in the Wyatt Six. So
now, what I'm about to say is not a shot at Nikki Cross. This is more of a shot at just the overall WWE landscape. Sometimes it's incredible how many wrestlers like leave that company and then just are on the indies. Like nothing else.
Jack and Cameron Grimes.
Elias and
Jinder
like only WWE valued these people. The biggest company in the world. No other company in the world values, like, no one in Japan wants to bring over a Trevor Lee or something like that. I think that's just always interesting.
I think he would do a great job in New Japan.
Not saying I need all these people to go over, by the way. I watched Matt Riddle go over. I watched Dolph Ziggler go over. I'm good. I'm just saying. Like, I think it's an interesting thing to think about when you look at it that way.
The value of these wrestlers you would think would be entirely high, but as soon as they
leave
the sphere, it's like, oh, no one actually wants this guy at all.
Yeah, it's like, oh, okay, cool.
And now, to be fair, it could be one of those things that the wrestlers themselves have a very high asking price, or yada yada. Like that was a thing of like Kalisto, Samurai Del Sol, where the rumor going around was that his asking price was apparently like astronomically high.
I mean, good for him.
Yeah,
if people are willing to pay it, go crazy,
It's like one of those things. Like, what is your actual value? What is your perceived value outside of the WWE?
I could make a joke and say Mercedes Moné wasn't signed for like 2 years, but I'm not gonna.
Hey, well, I mean, that's the other thing is like, I don't necessarily like. There's a reality where like she obviously doesn't go back to AEW. And I think one of the reasons she was unsigned, quote unquote, for 2 years is because she had no plans to go back to AEW originally, right?
Yeah.
I don't think that's even fair to say. It was obviously I'm going to go to Japan and work Stardom for a bit, and then when WWE
the one day I came back
down for WWE, I'll pop back in.
Yeah. The one day I came back to Twitter, I saw that she said some things. Not great.
Nope.
Not great.
Look, he's a father figure, Scotty. He's a father figure. Why would I say anything negative about my dad? I could. Certainly people could have.
Terrible human being.
Certainly, maybe the idea of seeing this random geriatrical.
Let's ask Shane McMahon about Vince McMahon right now. Yeah. See what Shane has to say.
You'd think, even if you see him as a father figure, that's also not even like complimenting on whether or not, like, it sounds positive. But to be fair, like, I could see this person as a father figure, but like, they could be shitty. They could be shitty at the job too.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that's true.
They
made money.
They made, all in all, AEW made money. I think the TV deal is really good. The library and the pay-per-view and all that stuff and the money and all these sort of things ties into it. Makes me a little bit confused, and I'm weary to call it great. But if they get an AEW Fox television deal, I mean, the whole thing is great, and they're sitting in great. Like, having this much money and being profitable at this point is great. If they get a Fox television deal for however much money that is, let's say 100 mil, right?
No way.
No way.
No way.
I'm gonna say, what did I say? 75
for one show.
I said 75 million or whatever. What did I say? 150 divided by 2 was 75 million, right? That's what I said. Yeah. Wait, no. 150 divided by 2, yes, is $75 million. So that's kind of where Dynamite and Collision are their price is right now. Kind of.
I'm going 40 million tops.
I don't think 40 million. 40 million tops, that's way too low. That's the same low.
I don't think so.
Just one show, and
I think Tony Khan sees the idea of getting on Fox as a good thing for the overall product and will take less money.
I would agree with that. I don't agree that it'll be 40 mil. I think that's way too low.
For 1 hour?
Oh, you're in the camp of 1 hour.
I'm sticking with 1 hour until I'm told otherwise. Because
40 mil for 1 hour is not too bad. That's not too bad.
At all.
It's for 2, then what? You're saying that's 80
If
mil?
it's 2, then it's different. But I am sticking with my 1 hour mindset for now.
If it's 1 hour, 40 mil, I'm fine with. Because like I said, if it's 2, then it's 80 mil. And that's kind of where I'm like, yeah, that's relatively, I think that makes more sense to me. Yeah. And at that point, you're talking 185 plus, let's say 40 mil, 225. Yeah. Let's say 80 mil, 65.
I can still see him take a little less, though, to get on Fox.
I could agree with that. It
makes sense because, you're getting more eyes on the product naturally.
Yeah, and it's something that it's less of a commitment for Fox, and if you prove your worth via your ad rates and all this stuff, which they did with Warner Brothers,
makes sense. To be fair, on a Fox end, we'll pay you far less money to fill in on a prime time on Fox and see what happens.
Yeah. Yep. And I think that's totally plausible.
I could see him be like a short contract at whatever price with the idea of maybe giving them more in the long run too. That type thing. I don't know. We're just throwing out ideas of things that don't really exist right now.
Yeah, it couldn't even be a show. We don't even know what's going to happen.
They could get $5 for it.
They could get $5 a year. That would be bad, but they could.
It's pretty funny though.
They get $5. Does Fox have to? That's the thing. Also, does crazy.
Fox have to pay?
No. $5 is a funny joke, but also they're profitable right now. If Fox didn't pay them at all, would they still be profitable if they ran a 1 hour television show on Fox?
Probably.
Because you would just run it, like you would just film it like
after you're just doing
or Collision.
You're just doing the tapings at the same time.
Yeah.
As Collision. So
unless it has to be live, which would be a different aspect of things.
That's true.
There's no conversation about whether or not this Fox deal is for a live television product. One would.
I would hope so. To be fair.
Yeah. I assume Collision's still taped. I guess it could be.
I'm sure Collision changes from time to time.
No, but I'm saying like in part of this new deal. Like,
yeah.
Like Dynamite's always live, obviously. Or yes. Unless others outstanding circumstances. But basically Collision's mostly taped, I think.
Yeah. At this stage, yeah, it is.
So
it's not even on next week.
Yeah, it's not even on next week. So I wonder if that's like maybe part of it. Like, Collision has to be live now moving forward. That changes a lot of things for AEW's end in terms of costs. So I guess we'll see. We'll see how it all shakes out. But pretty good so far. Has the potential, obviously, to be great. Do you want to talk AEW Wrestledream or WWE's Bad Blood?
We could just stay on AEW.
Let's stay on AEW. All right, so AEW Wrestledream is happening this Saturday in the Tacoma Dome of Tacoma, Washington. Live in pay-per-view on Triller TV, not on Max, on Triller TV this Saturday. I'll look up on WrestleTix to see what the ticket prices are doing so far. But before we get to it, Scotty,
live either.
What's that?
Not on Bleacher Report either.
Yes, not on Bleacher Report. That's been officially sunsetted, right?
Yeah, thank God. I had that. I got that for one show, and I never got it again.
What sucks about that though is that I got a lot of my pay-per-views on Bleacher Report, and those
you make sure to put in whatever to get them all put on your Fight account.
Is that a thing?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Well, you're welcome.
How do I even do that?
I don't know. I just know that you can get every pay-per-view you bought over. You can get the replays on your Fight account.
Oh, okay. I guess I'll look into that.
So what can I say except you're welcome?
No, we're not talking about Bad Blood yet.
Sorry.
So as of 3 days ago, Wrestledream has currently distributed tickets for basically 6,000 so far in the Tacoma Dome. We got a card in front of us. Before
the Tacoma Dome's a dump.
Maybe
Brian Alvarez said so.
I'll take his word for it.
He was very mad about it on Observer Radio.
What was were they in the Tacoma Dome last year, or what was last year?
I don't know.
It doesn't look like they were in the Tacoma Dome last year, so I don't know what happened. Wrestledream 2023. I mean, obviously, probably cheaper. I don't think it's bigger. The Climate Pledge Arena was last year.
Yeah, that's where Brian said they should be running it.
So the Climate Pledge Arena, their attendance, for an example, 7,108 in the Climate Pledge Arena, and right now they're at basically $6,000 as of 3 days ago. So I think they're on track to do the same, if not better. Maybe a little bit worse, but that was 3 days ago, and they still have the week to build to the pay-per-view. So I'm sure it'll be a little bit better as well. But anyways, we got the card. Before we get to the card, Scotty, you're stepping away from wrestling. You have thoughts on AEW that you wanted to say for this point?
Oh, I don't enjoy watching anymore. It's not good. I'm watching. What was the show the other day? What was it? Anniversary. I almost called it Title Tuesday. I was like, it wasn't Title Tuesday. That's this week. I was watching that show and I was like, I am quickly finding every problem I have as I watch this show. It's not great.
What are the problems?
I'm not going to just say Chris Jericho and Britt Baker because there's more, but that back-to-back sequence was not great for my. I skipped. I didn't skip Britt. I didn't skip Britt and D, but I did skip Chris Jericho. I did watch Chris Jericho. It was the first Chris Jericho segment I've watched in months because Mark Briscoe was in it. So that's called growth, everybody. Yeah, I'm just not clicking with the product anymore, and this is a me problem. I admit this. This is a me problem. Maybe not. But between the two shit finishes on both big matches, I was like, all right, I'm
talking about the Takeshita. We got the double pin into a
double pin,
and then Takeshita ruining it.
Yeah, and then the distraction roll up for Okada, which I was expecting. To be fair, I was expecting not a clean finish, but I was like, I like them running big matches. It's very cool. I enjoy the big matches. But if you have to go to a shit finish just to put them on, it's like, just save the big matches then. Mm-hmm. But yeah, this is like an overall thing. I'm not enjoying most weekly television wrestling wise anymore. I don't watch Raw and SmackDown. So yeah. before we assume things, I do not watch Raw and SmackDown or NXT. Sorry,
you didn't check out the debut on the CW.
I actually did because I wanted to see. It was not really that good of a show, at all. Julia lost because of Cora Jade.
Speaking of distraction finishes.
That one pissed me off too.
I mean, obviously, she already made her wrestling debut in NXT against Chelsea Green earlier, but still,
No, that one pissed me off way more. Don't worry.
Yeah.
That one was.
I didn't expect her to win, but it's one of those.
No. Because I knew Trick was winning, so I was like, they're not going to do both, and they're going to wait, and Vaquera's coming in, and all this stuff.
Vaquera's coming in, but also Cora Jade's here now. It's just like, okay, the Cora Jade's more important than Julia. What makes me believe that Stephanie Vaquera is going to be more important than Cora Jade?
I just thought
building just to a tag match.
I laughed at the idea of Julia and Stephanie Vaquera versus Cora Jade and Roxanne Perez.
A dream match anywhere in the world.
I like Roxanne, but
you know what that's going to be Halloween Havoc, and then Delta is going to show up.
Yeah. Cora Jade's been injured like 17 times in the past 2 years.
Yes.
Which very unfortunate. I don't remember what I was talking about.
You're saying that AEW sucks now, and then you don't watch.
Hey, that's that.
So you don't watch
the words in my mouth.
You don't watch WWE TV anymore, or really?
Well, I did at one point. WWE TV is really well done. Here's why: I can just watch it through a clip on on Twitter or something, and it's over for me. I saw the one clip. I'm done.
WWE television is great because I can watch the video package before the pay-per-view matches, and I understand what's happening. I save so much time.
That's true, to be fair.
So you don't watch WWE TV. You're bowing out of WWE television?
I don't watch Collision anymore.
Yeah. I haven't watched Rampage in years, I know for a fact.
No, I know. And Dynamite is very close to joining. Dynamite, I've started to watch parts of, which I know that is me slowly getting away from a product when I'm like, all right, fast forward. But yeah, I'm not into it. I think there's a mix here for me when it comes to AEW and not enjoying it. Obviously it is the online. I've kind of hinted at that earlier, so I got off of it. And that comes from both sides, by the way. That's not just the WWE only. Or AEW.
Get off of Twitter now. I am practically done with Twitter.
Because for me, I think the AEW super fans are annoying. I think the WWE AEW haters are annoying. I think everyone has annoyed me to the point where it's like, all right, let me watch the show and let me tell you if it's good for me. And I watched the show this week away from everything. I was like, shit.
We've had a conversation in the past where you've been out of you go in and out of AEW.
Oh yeah.
As well.
Oh yeah.
In a previous outing, you talked about how one of the reasons you were leaving is because everyone on Twitter annoys you. And my response was, well, then get off Twitter.
I did. I have notably made sure to, especially when Dynamite airs, I don't touch it. I don't look at it. This week I haven't looked at it at all, which hello to my friends that have tried to contact me. Haven't heard from you. I know I tweet things sometimes, but that is me putting my thoughts and literally closing the app.
Which I think is healthy. If you're going to be on it, that's the healthiest way to be on it.
It's so much better. And I'm probably going to keep with it besides and I'll probably stop ignoring some people that have spoken to me.
Make sure you're not dead.
Speaking of which, my friend texted me this week and I forgot to answer him one day and 3 days later I answered him. He's like, yeah, I was going to reach out today to make sure you weren't dead. I was like, thanks, man. Appreciate it. So that's funny that you said that. I'm just not connecting with AEW right now. I'm not connecting with American wrestling right now. I think that's my overall call. But I'm not really connecting with Puro either. So
WWE, AEW, you're definitely not watching TNA. You're definitely not watching NXT. Well, I know for a fact in terms of Japanese wrestling, New Japan has frustrated you. Stardom has frustrated you. Marigold, I think, is good, but my perception of your opinion is that Marigold's good, but it's not all time great stuff.
They're hour-long shows that take up my week. They are very I put it on, I watch it, it's over. It's just
So what
I think I'm
about? So it
frustrated.
sounds like it's more of an overall wrestling landscape thing for you.
For sure. But I have watched every Dynamite.
Mhm.
I'm sure. I don't think I've ever missed one. And I still watch them, and I'll still try to because I have a show to attend to, and I'm a professional.
Yeah, baby.
But we're getting into very, very risky business where I am not into like anything, and it's not great.
No, it's definitely not great. Is there something specifically about it that's making you weary about it? Like, what about AEW television specifically? Not including the Twitter stuff or anything, but like,
Oh yeah, none of that.
I can't
No,
imagine
that's how I
specifically
realized that
Jericho
this
and Britt are like pushing you away.
Jericho has
Annoying.
Jericho weekly television's pretty bad. Brit not so much. Brit's not always there. I think it's just I'm not locked into the overall like direction, and not like the only story that interests me is I guess Danielson and Moxley.
Yeah.
And even so, at least especially going to Wrestledream, looking at this card, that's definitely the only thing that's interesting me right now. Yeah, I just think it comes down to like sometimes you want to talk about the overall performance in the ring, everything like that. Yes, they have good matches, and yes, I'm getting to like okay, this is where I knew. I watched Ricochet and Ospreay, I was like, that was okay.
If it makes you feel better, I think
Please
a
tell me
lot
I'm
of
not alone.
I don't think you're alone. I think a lot of people hyped it up more in their head because when they think of Ricochet Ospreay, they think of 2016 New Japan, and that was nearly a decade ago. And these guys are completely like Ospreay specifically is a completely different wrestler from them.
Sure.
I think the expectation of expecting that level of wrestling, which to be fair, I think most people just watch the GIF, is like and I felt that way. I felt like, oh, this wasn't as great as I thought it would be. Like I think I went like 3 3.5, 3 3/4, something like that. I was like, this. I was expecting 4, and I didn't reach that mark.
Yeah, that was the match that I watched, and I was like,
a 7.58 on Cage Match. I think that's too low for what I expected it to be.
Sure. I did 3 1/4 or 3. So again, not high
Jesus,
on.
that's super low.
Yeah, I didn't redoing the opening spot from their 2016 match 10 times slower did not move me. Thank you for asking.
That was a big part coming out of it too, was that these guys move slower than
which is fine. They're older people, they're bigger people, like they didn't need to do that, you know?
But I knew they had to. I knew they had to do the spot, but it was
they could have landed in the superhero pose together without doing that.
But yeah, the exact same sequence at just quarter speed.
Right, like the point to me, this is just talking about this match now. To me, the interest of that idea is seeing them as they've advanced and as they've grown, not as the same guys. I don't want to see that match again.
Well, I think what was interesting, speaking about like the expectations of it all, is that like
and the way it ended did not help. But
I think that there is a lot of when it comes to like the expectations of things, is that there is the expectation that I'm going to see these guys advance as better wrestlers. So I'm going to see a better. So in what that means in a lot of people is I'm going to see a better version of the 2016 New Japan match, right? But in reality, what we're seeing is not necessarily these people advance as better wrestlers, but advance as older wrestlers, which is a completely different sentiment.
Worth noting, I don't think Ricochet is a better wrestler now, but
no, I think he's still really good, but I would say that he was great previously. Right?
Ricochet was seen as like this unbelievable game-changing talent pre-WWE. He does not seen it that anymore. So, yes.
And I think a lot of that is just because that was that was roughly 6 to 8 years ago, 6 to 10 years ago, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Plus WWE.
Yeah, like
the whole time.
I think that's the tough part about expectations is I think, and I fall in that trap a lot too, where it's like my expectations are that I'm going to see a better wrestling match. But it's like, oh wait, no, these guys are just actually older. And when it comes to like Ospreay, he's a completely different wrestler.
Yeah. I also, not to keep shit on this match, but doing the Poison Rana no sell pissed me off. Into the hidden blade and then the double pin.
Oh yeah, you really don't like that stuff.
I am getting really sick of that exact spot.
Yeah, because it happened.
It's the hidden blade one that he keeps doing.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know if it wasn't a Poison Rana. I think it was.
No.
It
was different.
Or something.
Yeah. Yes, it was. Which that also angered me, but that was a better match overall. So
it's a good spot to pop the crowd at the end of like a multi big spot. You know that sequence.
Mm-hmm.
Multi big spot move thing.
I think it just works better in a multi-person match as well.
That I can also agree with.
You know, because you're not taking as much damage, and I can more believable. Mm-hmm. Whatever. That's not the point. But yeah, I just get sick of it.
Yeah. Well, I'll to speak on behalf of the Freakazoids. I am still enjoying AEW. I do agree that like there are things that bother me, like the non-finishes and you know all these sort of things. I'm into the Mox Danielson stuff. I'm interested in what Darby Allin is doing. Like that interests me. I'm interested in Willow in the women's division.
I guess it's not. It shouldn't be shocking though that I'm saying all this and I'm kind of out when Swerve's not here. I hinted at it last week. That I was like,
I recall that happening with like Samoa Joe as well with you.
Yes.
And I think
not MJF.
Not MJF. That was a double thumbs. That. I was thinking about that recently of like, I wish AEW stopped having their champions take time off after losing the title. Like it happens with everybody. And I get it. Yeah. Most of it has to do with surgeries. And a lot of it has to do with taking vacation and you worked hard and you've earned it. And
they work once a week.
Yeah, I know. And a lot of times not even wrestling. But there's the idea of like, you deserve a vacation, you know, right? That like
of course. Swerve put a lot of work in this year.
Yeah, I don't disagree that Swerve has earned it, obviously, and obviously he was still around post losing.
Joe was older.
He was still around post losing the title because he was still doing the Hangman Adam Page.
Joe also does the TV show, so he'd take another break right after his other break when he lost the world title.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I would love for that, like if Swerve was around for 6 months after losing the title and then took the vacation, right? That like feels
even better. Like 3 months. Like, you know, like
and look at Daniel. He's going to lose the title and he's going to be gone immediately.
Oh yeah, like we're not seeing Danielson until next year at the earliest. Though now they're saying he's retiring, which I find funny. I was like, no, he's not. Why are we lying? We know he's not retiring. He said full-time career. Don't lie to me. Unless he just changed his mind. No, you would have to make a much bigger deal of that.
I don't disagree with you that if
it helps, I don't expect anyone to agree with me.
Sure, it sounds like you're colder on it than most people. You're not fully like saying I'm never watching this promotion again or whatever.
No, I can never do that. Wrestledream's my big. That's the big moment. How do I feel once Wrestledream's over?
That's fair, especially like pay-per-views. Because pay-per-views are pretty consistent.
Yeah, if that doesn't work for me, then we might be in danger.
Look, I don't disagree with you. The company's in a cold period. The company is very much in a cold period right now, and they are doing things that I think are hot at moments, but overall the product isn't firing on every single cylinder. The Hangman Adam Page Swerve stuff might be the greatest thing you've ever seen, but on the same episode you have the learning tree. You may be super interested about the direction of what Moxley and I guess the BCC are doing moving forward.
Sure.
But then you also have like the Young Bucks kind of stinking it up in the tag team division, right? Or just the tag team division as a whole.
There's always, this is good, but there's always a but.
Yeah, and back in the day, there never really was a but, and it's one of those things of now we need.
I'm 5.
Now we need something. We need something else to fire other than
the
2 things. We need all these. Things.
Yeah.
And you look at this card, and I think this card isn't bad, but it's also how we got
very thrown together for me.
Oh yeah, especially the tag team matches. match, but we'll get to that. So I guess
the tag team match is hilarious.
I know. Let's get to this card anyways. I guess I will say.
I'm sorry, everybody.
I don't think you have to apologize. I think it's
good
good
because I'm not actually sorry.
I think it's good to give our honest opinions on the state of wrestling because part of the show's concept, which we don't nail all the time, but was to look at things in sort of a big picture sense. Mm-hmm. And I do agree that, like, in a big picture sense, AEW is not firing on all cylinders. They are cold. I don't think they're the coldest they've ever been. I think they've heated up a little bit.
End of last year was coldest they've ever been.
That was MJF was like, fuck this.
There was nothing redeemable at the end of last year, you know?
Yeah.
Besides the Continental Classic.
Yes.
I think
also, to be fair, getting into the fall is just like in terms of the world of professional wrestling, such a cold period.
Yeah.
WWE goes cold, AEW tends to go cold, New Japan gets a bunch of tag leagues that no one gives a shit about.
Admittedly, wrestling has taken a toll on me this year in seemingly every way. Mm-hmm. And I feel another problem I have with AEW is they feel like they're connected to everything. I'm like, can you just leave me alone?
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah. I think, you know what I think about a lot? Do you think the New Japan relationship help or hurt AEW?
That's a good question. I mean, based on history, it would you could probably argue hurt, just because it's gotten less popular as a promotion as time gone on.
New Japan or AEW or both?
Yes, obviously New Japan has.
I mean, Forbidden Door are still hot shows, right?
Like, Forbidden Door is a hot show, but I don't know.
I think the partnership worked up until Ospreay and Okada left.
Yeah.
I think that was the moment where people were like, no, never mind. New Japan fans were like, never mind, don't care about this anymore. Because that was also...
I think it hurt me, too.
That was coinciding with the fact that, like, New Japan got super cold.
And I'm not even a big New Japan fan, as you know. Like, I never have been a big New Japan fan. Yeah. I'm a big fan of, like, some matches they do. I am less interested in both guys they signed from there this year than I was this time last year.
I definitely am less interested in Okada. However, I will note that Okada was less interesting for me in New Japan last year than he was in previous years.
I like Trios Champ Okada.
That's true. That's fair.
They had great matches.
What I mean to say is like Okada in the past couple of years has not even been close.
Sure.
To, prime Okada.
I loved him last year, though. Well, at the beginning of the year, and then they stopped.
And then he stopped, right? Ospreay, it's like Ospreay could still be around in New Japan and he would still be great, but I really don't like. It's like what is?
I told you my problem with him a few weeks of like 2 months ago. Mm-hmm. Seeing him on TV all the time is like, I don't know, it takes away from him.
Sure, his aura.
I was trying not to use that word, but you had to do it.
Yeah.
I just think I don't know. I don't know. I'm not gonna get into this. Let's talk about Wrestledream. We got topics to do here.
So Wrestledream, they have 7 matches announced for the main show so far. 8 if you count the 0 hour. Big. Look at this long term. You tell me they never do long term booking. You got a week out.
A week out, and the pay-per-view card is made. Woo!
Get into it, baby. So
I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm reading this card right now. Had no idea 4 of these matches were happening.
I think a lot of it I think got made last night on Collision. To be fair.
Oh my god, that makes sense actually.
So it will be noted that on the pre-show, what has only been announced for the pre-show so far is a Ring of Honor World TV title match: Atlantis Jr. versus Brian Cage. Honestly, I'm
genuinely okay. So I'm genuinely intrigued by that.
Me too.
I said all these things about all the wrestling I watch. That's fun. That seems fun.
To me, that's like on paper. I was like, I never thought that match could exist.
See, that's like a good pre-show match.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's what you would want on a 0 hour, not 10-man tags starring Hook. You know, that's good. I'm into that.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope Atlantis Jr. wins, but I'm into that.
Yeah, I'm actually really intrigued about this match.
Also, forgot Atlantis Jr. had a Ring of Honor title until you just said it.
Mm-hmm. I'm weirdly into this match. It seems fun. It seems honestly fun.
It does seem fun.
Yeah. And it's a nice light match where I'm like, yeah, I'll watch this. I'll check this out. So we'll see what else gets added to the pre-show. But I am very vaguely interested.
Let's talk about the non-light matches.
Ring of Honor World Title match: Mark Briscoe versus Chris Jericho. Now, granted, it's Mark Briscoe, top 5 wrestler of the year. Mark Briscoe versus Chris Jericho, who I have no idea where it even lists on my my thing here, but can't be good. Can't be good. Now, I don't think this will be as bad as the Mystico match. I don't think anyone can be as bad as the Mystico match. But what do you think about this one? Obviously, you're not too into this with Chris Jericho.
Why does he feel the need to see every wrestler that we enjoy and
work with them
instantly? It's like immediate. Like, oh, Mark Briscoe's having this great year. Oh, it'd be a shame if I ruined it. That's what I think he says. I believe in Mark Briscoe so much. Like he is one of the best in the world. Obviously, he's been incredible this year.
Yep.
However, Chris Jericho for me has been the complete opposite. Chris Jericho makes me want to stop watching AEW. Chris Jericho matches on pay-per-views are almost always my worst ranked match. It never fails. It's incredible. So I'm a little conflicted. Whose powers do I believe in more here, Ryan? Do I believe more in the power of Mark Briscoe? Or do I believe more in the power of Chris Jericho sucking?
The vortex, as it were.
The vortex. The learning tree stinks. Mark Briscoe should be winning this match, obviously. If he doesn't, we have problems. I'm going to go and say this will be okay. It won't be bad. I don't think Mark Briscoe can have a bad match in 2024. I just don't think he can.
I agree. I think
this is effort.
I think this match is a real test of how highly I'm voting for Mark Briscoe for Wrestler of the Year.
For Wrestler of the Year at the end of the year.
Right now, honestly, he's my US and Canada MVP. I think.
I don't hate it.
When I think of MVP, I think of
Montel Vontavious Porter.
Beyond that. I think of second beyond MVP, because at one point he called himself Mr. 305, and now that's fully Pitbull. So now I also think of Pitbull when I think of MVP. Fucking lost my train of thought. When I think of the US MVP when it comes to Observer Awards, it's like the wrestler, the Lou Thez Award, then the work rate Wrestler of the Year, and then US Canada MVP is the third,
gotcha.
Whoever third place for me.
Gotcha. Gotcha. No, that's fair. I like that. Shout out to Mark Briscoe.
Mark Briscoe is I think this is a real test for that sort of award in my eyes. Chris Jericho, not a great year. According to my ratings, ranked 300th. Would you like to take a guess which New Japan wrestler he is tied with as the 300th Wrestler of the Year, in my opinion? Or ranked Wrestler of the Year, in my opinion. Which New Japan wrestler?
Do they wrestle a lot?
Not really this year.
Tenzan.
No.
Damn it.
Chase Owens.
Oh!
Isn't that great? Isn't that great? Chase, I thought you would get a good kick out of that. Chase Owens ranked exactly the same as Chris Jericho.
Honestly, not shocking. That's bad, though. You never want to. I forgot Chase Owens existed. It's been a good year for New Japan.
Above Chase Owens is Show. I have Show, Chase Owens, Chris Jericho, Mariah May. Oof.
Classic. Ryan hates
Mariah
women.
May has also
Continue.
had squashes too, so that brings her down.
Yeah, she only squashes people.
I know. But yeah, will this match be bad? I don't think it will be bad. I think Mark Briscoe is too great and too chaotic to not, make a cool, exciting match like the Cactus Jack energy.
I have a special area in my wrestling brain, right? Where it's like, if you put this guy in a match, he's gonna get the best out of it. Mark Briscoe's in that.
Agreed.
So I feel like this can be okay at worst. Maybe, hopefully.
Yeah.
If this is below 2.5 stars, it's Chris Jericho's fault. 1,000%.
Predetermined. I think the floor is 3. That's
You
right.
are very generous.
I think I might.
Chris Jericho's been really bad this year, but honestly, with how good Mark Briscoe is, you probably are right.
Yeah. Darby Allin, he put out a open challenge to anyone that wanted to wrestle him, and the answer to that challenge, as we found on Collision, is Brody King. So in a special singles match, you get Darby Allin versus Brody King. I mean, this should be great.
Oh,
yeah, that should be.
Brody King singles push.
Well, I don't think he's getting the win. I think Darby's getting the win, but
the fact that he's here is good enough for me.
Exactly.
Okay, this should be good. This should be really good.
This should be great.
Very random, but it should be very good.
Yeah, I don't think there's any reason this match should be.
When Darby made the open challenge, I didn't think instantly Brody King. I actually forgot Brody King is in this company because I don't watch Collision. But that's good. No, I'm into that. Darby surviving his way up by taking down all these big guys would be a very interesting story to tell. Ultimately, he's gonna have to beat Samoa Joe in the end, but to get to the title, that's my decision. It's valid. Live with it. I thought it might have just been like Claudio. Like I was just thinking, like maybe it was gonna be Claudio or something.
Oh,
this is cool.
That could have worked too. Just have like the sort of build up to the Moxley, have sort of
maybe that's the long term run. He's got to climb through the Pacs and the Claudios before getting back.
Darby versus Pac. Hold on. You just said it all of a sudden. I said, wait a second. Slow your roll, Scotty. Darby.
We're not doing Bad Blood yet. How many Rock references do we accidentally make, by the way? I think I make like 10 per day.
Probably.
That's a good match. Darby should win, obviously, and could be your match of the show. I don't know what the card is.
Let's move along to figure that out. AEW TNT title match. The Scapegoat, Jack Perry, will be defending his title against Katsuya Shibata.
Yeah, that does nothing for me. I'm sorry.
It doesn't really do much for me either. I think obviously Shibata's here.
That was very put together again. Just oddly, he happened to be walking when Jack arrived in his bus.
Yeah, he happened to be walking. Shibata says, I believe he doesn't like Jack Perry. And then when Jack Perry had an open challenge title match and Minoru Suzuki accepted it, wrestled, so he beat Suzuki. He beat him up after the bell, and Shibata made the save. And now,
okay. At least there's reason here. Doesn't do a lot for me. Sadly, not feeling Jack Perry.
Big disappointment.
Unfortunately, not feeling Shibata.
I think Shibata fixed himself a little bit with that Samoa Joe pairing, but not enough to, warrant.
He loses every match he wrestles in.
Yeah, he's going to lose this one.
Oh yeah, obviously. I don't know. This title reign feels aimless right now.
Yeah,
that's kind of how I feel about the Elite.
Yes.
Aimless is a very.
I think the problem with the Elite is they cannot move forward as a character or as a story until Omega's back.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Which is cool in some ways. I can't wait for that. But it's also like they can't do anything. It's just sort of
a lot of in AEW history. Well, when Kenny's back.
Yeah. Well, because what's the character story arc right now of the the Elite? It's just that they have control in AEW and they're just kind of running amok in a lot of ways.
Kinda
all the belts or whatever.
But they don't really do anything. That's the thing. They don't really run amok anymore. They just kind of
because a lot of people didn't like that they ran amok, so they scaled that back, and now they just don't really do anything.
The problem was the Tony Khan angle was for the NFL Films thing, and we just have to accept that. And the direction since then has been And I agree. Bringing it back, right? The authority figure aspect wasn't exciting, but you had to have something to replace it with, and they haven't. Like, we are just getting a Young Bucks tag title match that should be a major tag title match against who they're facing, right after that tag team was bullied by Moxley and company.
Yeah.
It's not, and Okada's just kind of there.
Yeah.
And has been really since he's joined. And Jack Perry has now fallen into that trap as well.
Yeah. He's fallen into the vortex. Can you believe it?
God.
So many vortexes in this company.
So many vortexes.
AEW International Championship. It's a 3-way. Will Ospreay versus Ricochet versus Konosuke Takeshita, who interrupted the title match between Ospreay and Ricochet, and because of that, earns a title shot.
If this match isn't great, then something went wrong.
This match on paper is very exciting. How we got here is a little ridiculous, but still very, still exciting in lots of ways.
What happened to Takeshita and Okada?
I don't know.
Oh,
that's been
how do we just act like that just didn't happen?
They're both heels. We can't do a match.
I don't like that. I don't like that. I like this. This is a good match. And you know what? I'm going to say it. Takeshita should win. I don't care.
I agree.
Change it up. Get him a belt.
I think Ospreay should be so distracted by outdoing Ricochet or whatever that he gets so distracted by that Takeshita just comes around behind him, stabs him with a screwdriver, and wins.
Yeah. I think Takeshita...
Sorry, screwdriver into a brainbuster. We got to finish with the actual move, but still.
Yeah, of course. I think Takeshita is obviously fantastic. I said when he came back from the G1, you got to do something with him. It's been a wonky way of doing stuff with him because he has now went face to face with Okada, and now this. But we're here. There is a title match happening.
Sorry, you know what's ironic about like Takeshita doing great in the G1 and coming back, and everyone being like, "You got to do something with Takeshita." Everyone felt the same way about Willow, right? When Willow accidentally won the Strong title off of Mercedes, and it was like, you got to push Willow now, and then they really did nothing with her. Like,
Willow has one actual AEW title reign to her name, and it lasted a month. You see my problems?
No, I agree with you. But this idea of like AEW is often given gifts by other companies.
Yeah.
And they just like don't do anything with it.
They're just like, oh, that's nice.
Wasn't our plans.
Wasn't in my brain this week, so have fun, buddy. Yeah, no, that's not great. I think like with Takeshita, you can right a lot of wrongs, but I also feel like people want him to win the Continental Classic and take the belt from Okada. And it's like, okay, sure. Which, I'm not going to sit here and say no to, by the way. I would love that. It's just like, I think it's difficult when you book it this way because I guess this is playing to the Ospreay Fletcher story more, and they're using Takeshita as like Callis's way of taking Ospreay out, which if you remember was my plan once upon a time. A few months ago, I said this should be the direction, but it's a 3-way, so whatever. I don't know how to honestly feel about this match outside of it should be great, and honestly, that's where I'm just gonna stay. Like, if this match isn't great, something went wrong, and I think Takeshita should win. I don't think we should wait for the Continental Classic. You know what? He can win that too, and then you know what? We can combine the titles and get rid of the stupid Continental title.
I fully agree and co-sign that one. What if instead of the Continental title, we change it to the Fox title? Anyways, AEW World Tag Team Championship, the Young Bucks will be defending their titles against Private Party. Private Party basically said, we said new year, new us. We want to go after the tag titles. They then immediately got booked for a number one contenders 3-way, and they won it on Collision, and now we're here. This is a 1-week build.
It was pretty cool though. Remember when they got like beat up by that
was great.
Moxley?
That was great.
Yeah, but this is right after. They got punked, and now they're in a tag title match. They lost the trios match too.
Well, I think the idea is that like they got punked, but they're like kind of like prove Moxley and all them wrong.
Yeah, maybe I just could have used a little space.
Yeah.
Like a month, not no 0 time. But I like Private Party. I like Private Party being in this match. I feel like Private Party should have been tag champions within the first 5 years of the company. But as Moxley said, they're in the same spot that they were 5 years ago when I saw them beat the Young Bucks live in person. This is a big match for them, win or lose. This is the once again prove it.
It's gonna be lose, but continue.
Oh yeah, obviously. If it's win, it almost makes this worse. Just
if it's win, I don't know. If it's win, I'll be like, okay, all right.
If it's win, it's good. But I feel like losing hopefully builds them to a later win. If that makes sense.
Maybe.
I don't know. You feel as defeated as I am. I wouldn't mind if they won, to be fair.
I think it's a good swerve for them to win. Like
Strickland? It would be very much like the first time they won. Kind of just like out of nowhere type.
We had that vignette weeks ago, right? Of Stokely Hathaway watching a bunch of tag team matches in AEW history.
Yeah.
What if he's the reason that allows Private Party to win the titles here?
Ooh, that means they're going to be heel again?
Well, they could be heel, but maybe they could be.
They shouldn't be heel. I think they're very likable.
Yeah. I also there was a report, I think, from the Observer that said that Stokely is apparently Stokely and Stat are separating as a unit.
Yeah, they are. They're making Statlander a babyface.
Doesn't make any fucking sense in the world.
No! Just because they saw that she couldn't face Mariah May or Mercedes, and they were like, shit.
Which the problem I brought up on that show is like, Willow, you can easily go into the women's title division. I think she should go in immediately and win the title.
Yeah.
And she might. She might win this Saturday.
Yeah.
And Chris is like, I'm going to do a vague promo of, I'm just going to be gone for a while. And when I come back, I'm going to be repackaged as a baby face without my manager.
After I almost murdered Willow.
Yeah. It's like, what are you doing?
You see my point.
But also, I'm okay if Chris took a break, right?
Sure.
Took a break. Because what you can just do...
She's hurt.
She's hurt?
She was hurt.
Okay,
That's minor injury, Fightful said.
But what you could do is have her sideline herself for a little bit, have Willow win the title on Saturday, and then while she's celebrating, Chris comes out of nowhere and immediately beats her up. And then you got a title program. It's what are we doing here? I'm looking at this as like, this is what you got to do. This is what you got to build to. The Hangman Swerve feud of the women's division. Yet we're gonna turn, unless Willow's turning heel.
Can you imagine after the Hangman Swerve match, they just turn Hangman babyface?
Yeah, after Wrestledream last year, they're like, no, last year, right? It's like, I guess at the time they were both babyfaces. But again, unless we're turning Willow heel, which
would be the worst decision in company history.
At least right now. Like, maybe down the line if she needs a refresh, but right now she is so hot, so working, and so over as a babyface. There is no reason to switch her.
She's like top 5 most over wrestlers in the company.
They were the Outrunners.
How dare you? They beat the Grizzled Young Veterans on Collision.
I know. Grizzled Young Veterans immediately sliding down the pole.
Remember the Grizzled Young Veterans and how excited people were for them?
Yeah, I was one of them. Anyways, it would be a good swerve for Private Party, I think, to win the titles. I think it could liven up the tag division, and it would make another tag team feel important, right?
I just wish they felt important before winning the titles.
Agreed.
That's my main thing.
But it can establish them moving forward. So maybe
if you want to quickly do it, and then Roosh and Mortos destroy them in a couple months, I'm in.
Look, if that's what we got to do, I guess
if this is how you get me back into AEW, I'm in.
Yeah. I'll put it as here: AEW Women's World Title match. Mariah May will be defending her title against either Britt Baker or Willow Nightingale. That's going to be decided this Tuesday on AEW Dynamite for Title Tuesday. So who do you think is going to win the Title Tuesday number one contenders match between Britt and Willow, and then who's challenging Mariah? Well, then how do you think that match is going to be against Mariah? Yes, Scotty in the back. You have your hand raised.
Again, the last pay-per-view matches for both of these wrestlers were losses.
Sure, but
now they're going. Okay, Britt beat Serena Deeb.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Willow has beaten. Oh, by the way, also Willow lost her women's world title match in CMLL, but that's non-canon for AEW for whatever reason. So who cares?
That doesn't exist.
Willow beat Taya Valkyrie on Rampage. It took her 10 minutes to beat Taya Valkyrie, and then she beat Trish on Collision yesterday, which I don't remember if that match happened before or after the announcement of the number one contenders match. But anyways, Britt.
My point is proven.
Britt beat Serena Deeb and hadn't wrestled in 2 months, lost to Mercedes Moné at All in London. You go ahead. So you're saying is you want the rankings back?
No. What I am saying is I want things to just make sense.
Okay, the rankings. Rankings make sense. They're logical. You get wins. You get title matches.
Yes and no. Yes, like the idea of the rankings, but I don't need the actual rankings. I just need to use reason. Reason is these two they've gotten hot in the win streak. No, technically, Chris Statlander should be next up because she's the one that's won a big match.
Mm-hmm.
Winning matches.
You know what I would do? Make it a triple threat: Willow, Chris, and Mariah May. That way you can put her in there.
That's a great idea. But Mercedes Moné has picked Chris Statlander clearly as her next opponent because that's where they're going. So,
well, yes.
You see my frustrations?
Yeah.
I don't mean to keep picking on this, but this one makes no sense. And you know what? Screw it. Give Will the belt too. Which by the way, agreed on, to be fair.
I've said it for months. Willow should win the title right here.
But again, I feel like Willow's world title moment should feel bigger.
Agreed. But when you also have, at the same time, though, she's super over. Mariah May is, right now, dead in the water. You have to switch the title off of Mariah.
What was the Mina stuff about?
What's that?
Why did we do the Mina stuff?
Oh, I don't know. Because I thought that would have been here, Mina versus Mariah.
Yeah, and then they just were like, oh yeah, by the way, Mina teamed with Tony on Stardom.
Yeah, they're doing something with that, and I don't know what it is. But honestly, I don't care anymore. I would literally just take the title off Mariah.
I don't give. Yeah, no, it's rough.
Yeah. And simple. This is simple booking, right? You have Willow.
I mean, Willow's been the
Mariah. And then who was the last person to have beaten, other than Zeuxis, who was the last person to have beaten Willow?
But it doesn't matter because Chris is a baby face now.
So dumb.
You see my point here.
Yeah.
It is overcomplicating everything right now. Every story feels overcomplicated except for the main event.
So we need a streamlined way to make people have, honest challenges where they win matches, right?
Maybe Willow should have just beat Chris. That was the easiest path.
Yeah, I agree. That was the easiest path.
You said it earlier. You said it when we were previewing the show then.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so you're saying Ryan Knightsey was right? I'm always right. I did a whole bit on video and it didn't really work. Yeah, I'm typically right on these things. I'm a great analysis of pro wrestling, especially AEW, as the Freakazoid of the podcast.
I will give you one thing. You are very good at analyzing AEW, and I should listen to you because little did I know that they were going to make every mistake in the book on the way to this point.
Yeah. Look, here's the thing. Everyone wants more streamlined stuff. But when someone brings up the rankings, everyone shuts off and be like, "No, I don't want to hear about the rankings." The rankings worked. The rankings keep things honest. If you just get off of Twitter, then the rankings work on television.
They did bring him back, and then they just stopped doing
brought
them.
Back to Samoa Joe as champion was like, hey, can we have the rankings for my title reign? He's like, sure.
I do like that he did that, and then like everyone else was also ranked.
Yes.
Maybe you just do world title rankings.
I'm fine with that. Just
I don't need the TNT title to have rankings. I don't need the TBS title to have rankings. I don't need the international title.
Yeah.
That's a lot of titles. I think
all I'm saying is that, like everyone complains in a similar way.
Or just men's and women's rankings. End of story.
Everyone complains in a similar way that how we get to these title matches doesn't make sense all the time.
Sure.
And it's like, well, an easy way to like do that is like the rankings. I think that's the easiest way. And then like people are like, no. But then it's like, okay, then what do you want to do? How do you want to do that? Make the booking make more sense. Okay. How do you want the booking more sense? Well, they need to win matches. Rankings. the rankings will force them to. It's like, I want them to win
what
matches.
People don't want.
I want them to win matches, but
they don't want to see it. Yeah, they don't want to see it. To be fair, they start when the rankings were around towards the end. They stopped listening to those as well. That was what people's problem was too. Yeah. They'd be like, the fourth person's challenging for the world title, and they'd be like, huh?
Yeah, I think a fourth person doing eliminator makes sense. I think a fourth person challenging world title rankings, right? Yeah. Let's say we just do world title rankings. If ranked number 4 was did an eliminator for the world title, I think that works. Yeah. If ranked number 4 for the world title had a title shot at the TNT title, I also think that works.
I even just think like the men's and women's rankings
company. So if they want to challenge for a mid-card belt, they could. If they lose, they're off the rankings for the world title.
I agree. Just do men's and women's rankings. Top 5, done. Top 10 even.
Simplify it. Top 10 men's and women's rankings. And if you're in the top 5, you can challenge for any title. Well, challenge for any mid-card title. If you're number 1, you can challenge for the world title.
Mm-hmm.
We solved it.
There you go.
We solved it. Are
people going to be upset with that? I, the AEW person that's about to stop watching wrestling.
What is it? You
has helped.
You put your hand up like Yuji Nagata.
I am Yuji Nagata. I am Blue Justice. I think today was his anniversary show. So
possibly.
Shout out to Blue Justice. No, we fixed it. You're welcome, everybody. Is that Chris Jericho on that poster behind you?
I've had this here for weeks and you haven't noticed.
I just noticed the tattoo and I'm like, I think that's Jericho. That's what? Where'd you get that from?
Someone, this was donated to a local arts and crafts store in Atlanta. And they were like, I have nowhere to put this. Do you want this? And I said, how big is it? And they said, it's not that big.
It's pretty big.
It's massive. I think it might be backwards on the video. I'm not sure. But
it's not backwards.
But if you also notice, like, this is an old poster. This is like, if for our audio listeners, this is like I don't know.
You know how old that poster is? So old that it just says AEW on Wednesdays.
Yes, it just says AEW Wednesdays on TNT, not TBS. Yeah. It is the old AEW scratched up surface logo. It is Chris Jericho, who still has a hairline that didn't go to church. And look at this guy. Like, this is 2019 Chris Jericho in this poster. They have, and it's also the look at the obviously the design of the poster has like the puff paint stuff. Yeah, right? Yeah. The old Dynamite.
It's like first year of Dynamite. Yeah.
Yeah. This is some sort of advertisement poster, I believe, for AEW Dynamite at some point. It's also interesting here. This is, by the way, again, this poster is maybe like 3 feet by 5 feet. I don't know. I don't know feet. I can't dimensionize. What's also interesting is that this poster has like, it stops here, and then there's just like a black strip of nothing right here, which, like, look, if I wanted to, let's say, put like a big old clamp on the poster, like, you know, a big clamp, those sort of things, and hang this up somewhere, this would be a good advertisement poster for AEW. And guess what? I think that's what this is. I can't verify it. I've looked around to see if I could, but I can't. But yeah, I've had this for a month, and I'm shocked this is your first time saying something.
Well, I noticed it was an AEW poster. I'm just noticing it's Chris Jericho.
Yeah, I thought the Canadian bicep flag would have given it away.
Yeah, I didn't look closely enough.
I even mentioned on a podcast a couple weeks ago that like I was like Chris Jericho. I feel like he's stalking behind me. I even said that at one point. And that was
to me, I just thought Chris Jericho's a weird guy. Maybe that's why he said it.
also fair. Anyways, so yeah,
let's finish reviewing the show.
Women's title division makes sense. Doesn't make any sense. The rankings, we've solved it. It's one. We've won for an hour 40. We gotta
what can I say except you're welcome?
Not Bad Blood yet. AEW World Title Match, the main event. Bryan Danielson versus Jon Moxley. Your thoughts?
This should be their first great match.
First great match. I think the Revolution one was.
The Revolution one was great. The Grand Slam one was not. And I feel like this is actually like far more personal, far more. I
think the build on this has been good.
Interesting story for these two, and we are going to try to watch Bryan Danielson try to fight for his life, his career. It should be excellent. And again, this is why I said to you, Ryan, I'm giving myself to Wrestledream. Problem is, you won't be able to watch Wrestledream live, so you'll never know if I have given up on AEW until 2 weeks from now.
Well,
we don't speak unless we're on Ring Post Radio, everyone.
Yeah.
No words are said to each other.
I might be able to watch it live, but it's just gonna be like me in the hotel by my or actually not in my hotel. I think I'll be in my house, my dad's house by myself because he's coming back.
Welcome to my house.
I might just be watching Wrestledream by myself at my dad's house. Just be like, oh, here we go. I just can't record the next day. Spoilers.
And you're gonna be watching it the whole time. Be like, I wonder if he has given up on AEW as.
I'll probably Slack message you.
I like you just ruined the.
Sorry, my bad.
That I created that we don't speak unless it's Ring Post Radio.
You want to know something interesting?
Sure.
Moxley and Danielson obviously wrestled at Revolution, and then they wrestled a Grand Slam that same year, where Moxley won the world title. Moxley 2-0 against Bryan Danielson in AEW.
So do we think it's just gonna be? I think it's just gonna be 3-0, but.
Yeah, what are we thinking here? It feels like, are we going Moxley 3-0, putting Danielson out to pasture, retiring the guy? It feels like Moxley's momentum demands that he wins the world title here. But is that just it for Bryan Danielson?
I think his neck probably says yes. Let's take some time off.
Assuming that's real, yeah. It's Bryan Danielson. I'm never gonna. Who knows?
I don't know. I just feel like he's always injured.
This guy can just say he woke up on the wrong side of the bed, and everyone think he's gonna have to retire from his neck injury. So that's why I'm like, I'm always so nervous about when he says stuff like that.
That's true. It's weird, right? Because it's like, does Bryan Danielson's career ending interest me more in AEW? No. However, Moxley winning here feels like it's the next step. In
or whatever
story they've created. And unfortunately, it means Danielson's over at that end. Who saves AEW? Right? That's going to be the ultimate goal at the end of this. I think we all think it's Darby.
I think the idea is for it to be Darby.
But I said it last week. If this company keeps going, blip, 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 I'm just hot shotting the belt back to Swerve. So, because he's the man. He's the guy. I don't want to call him Ace because I know Moxley's like the Ace figure. But
you know, it'd be nice. It'd be a nice special singles match.
Moxley versus Malachi. No, that sucked. What
if Swerve was still around? Darby versus.
He's gonna be around.
No,
that's what I was hoping. I was hoping the open challenge was just Swerve.
Yeah,
I understand they're both baby faces, but it's in Washington.
Because then look, they're both baby faces, but it's in Washington. But then Swerve can lose, and then on Wednesday we can do like Wednesday we can do like the Prince Nana. Like maybe he loses because of Prince Nana or whatever. But that feels cheap. Darby needs a solidified win.
Yeah.
But this idea of like, maybe I am losing. Maybe I need a new manager.
Bullshit finishes. I will kill you. Bobby Lashley's gonna be first shoot anyways.
Yeah, but you could have had him lose here if he was still.
I need Bobby Lashley back.
Yeah, well, apparently
I need him. Period. He hasn't been on AEW ever. I need Swerve back though.
Well, look, you need to get Bobby Lashley in this company because he's a extremely talented wrestler. Unlike other bookers for other companies want you to believe.
He's also I learned this week that he is doing a search for the world's greatest cheeseburger.
That's my kind of guy.
I was like, that's my world champion.
Bobby Lashley is like the cool guy of the frat, in my opinion.
Bobby Lashley's just cool. I like Bob.
Yeah. Moxley Danielson. It feels like we're demanding Moxley to win the title here, but it does feel like, and that's just it for Bryan Danielson. Like that feels.
Yeah, it would be.
Like you talked about, like Willow's winning the title should matter more, or something like that. Or
sure.
Like Danielson losing feels like it should matter more.
Oh, 100%
would just be like it almost feels like we're dying with a whimper in a weird way. Even though I think the feud going into this has been really good.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. Like they've seemed to heighten it with saying he retires now, and I'm like, well, that's not true.
But I don't think it's not. We know it's not true, and also,
but he's saying it too.
I don't think they've. But I don't know if they've like said it enough because it's not really like that's.
They just started it Wednesday.
I guess that's part of it.
Which was like why I was so confused.
Because you know what that problem is. The same thing we said about the preview to All in London, or not even a preview, but like way before that. It looks like it's going to be Danielson at All in London, or it was like the Danielson or Ospreay. Remember that conversation of like who should main event All in London?
Sure.
Ospreay. In that moment, I said something along the lines of, well, the problem with Danielson's stuff is that we know that he's not fully retiring because he said that he's going to just take a back seat and semi-retire. If he said in that promo a year or so ago that he was going to fully retire from pro wrestling, then all of this would be hotter. But it's not because he didn't say that. That promo has ruined a lot of different booking things they had done because they had to convince you. They had to change it to a title versus career match at London to make that more obvious. They had to start saying that he's going to retire, even though we all know it's not true. So it's very difficult.
Well, maybe Moxley just kills him.
Maybe Moxley just kills him.
And when I say that, I mean like
Moxley killing them.
Maybe the way you do this, and this is obviously going to sound very fucked up, but hang with me. You have to have him stretchered out.
A gun. How about we
you've got to have him stretchered out.
Yeah.
Because then there's reason that he's not there anymore.
Sure. It was a stretcher job. Sure.
Right. Stretcher job. I think that's like your best case scenario is Danielson's bloodied, like can't move, has to be taken out by paramedic. It's fucked up, I know. But you know,
are we giving Danielson a little fizz tablet for his mouth?
No, we're not going that far.
We're gonna make this.
I think he's behind this too. Like I obviously am not talking to Dan Anderson, but you know, like he has tried to act like he is getting like seizures in the ring since coming to AEW. So like nothing is too far for him.
We're gonna see the guy get seizures in the ring, and then Mox is gonna like kick the referee out of the way, and then kick the man while he's having a seizure. Like that's what we're looking at for this match, and
that's how we sell it.
That's the brutality we're all expecting.
This is my brutality.
I guess at that point, let's move on and talk about Bad Blood because we don't have a lot of time, and we're going to move forward. WWE's Bad Blood took place last night out of Atlanta, Georgia, in the State Farm Arena. You may have heard that it's the site of the Omni back in the day. They really wanted to put this over as like a Southern WCW territory. You got Triple H saying he was terrorizing the South in WCW. You have the Brainbusters, the Four Horsemen out here. They're really trying to sell this idea that this is a WCW territory event. I think the years of kind of degrading.
Goldberg was there.
Scott Steiner
was there.
Scott Steiner was there. Not his brother. not Braun Breaker's dad, even though he was also there signing. But whatever. We got returns galore. Obviously, Raquel Rodriguez. You have the return of No Yeet himself. and the return of the final boss, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, has also shown. So the Dwayne The Rock Johnson, we'll talk about the main event first. Dwayne The Rock Johnson, by the way, this is a sold-out arena in State Farm. He shows up, right? And I said to myself, what the hell is this guy doing in Atlanta, Georgia? And then I immediately stopped myself from saying that and said, oh, I forgot. This guy is filming on my wife's movie. I fully forgot. He has been here for months. He has been filming this movie for months.
That's just funny.
And he is going to be here probably for the next month or so before they fly out to Hawaii. But yeah, he's been here. He's been here. He even was in the news this week because he went to the Appalachian High school football team, football game. Which apparently Jesse told me that not only did he go to that game, I don't know if it was part of that whole press release, that press gimmick with the not gimmick, but it was something nice to do for the Appalachian High School football team. He apparently also brought the football team to set. As well.
That's cool.
That's according to my wife. I don't know if, like I said, I don't know if it was part of the video.
Good guy, Dwayne.
He brought them to set to go check out the set of
Dwayne, the good guy Johnson.
Exactly. All right. So, like I said, let's talk about the main event of WWE Bad Blood first, because it is noteworthy. That way we can.
Yeah, we got Bad Blood.
Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns defeat the Bloodline, Jacob Fatu and Solo Sikoa. I thought this match was so incredibly slow, very consistent with normal Bloodline matches. Cody Rhodes really takes him out of the finish of the match by doing a dive to Jacob Fatu.
That was great.
That was great. The point, the salute, and then come on, and then the stinger splash. Woo!
Shout out to Yuji Nagata.
And then it's like Roman Reigns versus Solo Sikoa. Then the Tongan twins, Terra twins, come out.
The Terra twins are a different duo in this.
And then they get distracted by a guy in a mask. The guy in the mask turns out to be Jimmy. That's
No Yeet.
That's the teacher from Jimmy Neutron. That's the voice, Jimmy.
Miss Fowl?
Miss Fowl. I can't believe you pulled that. And then he helps Roman win, I think. And then Roman wins. And then Cody's like, I'm hurt, gets the belt, and then The Rock comes out, does the people's eyebrow, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then the Undertaker finger cut, and then he's out, he's bouncing, and then he cuts a 5-minute promo on his way in the back. What do you think about this main event?
He cut a promo in the back,
on Twitter.
Shit, I gotta go watch that. Must be great.
It's 5 minutes long. Like the first minute is nothing. The first minute is literally like not him saying anything of important.
That's my guy. Dude rocks.
The first minute is like keep the camera rolling, because it's like he can't cut. He's not allowed to cut his actual content of the promo until he gets outside.
Yeah,
but it's like
keep the
camera rolling. Hey, how's it going? Giving fist bumps to the people that work at the State Farm.
Gotta vote him Wrestler of the Year. Just for the promos, just for the social media promos. He's fucking hilarious. The match itself was about as I expected. I mean, Solo Sikoa is not good, so and he was in the match for the majority, right? So when Jacob Fatu is in there, it was good for me.
It wasn't as good as I wanted it to be. When Jacob
no, they're limiting him, as much as humanly possible, because I think the idea of him is that he can destroy everyone, in the end, which is great because he feels like a superstar. At least I think. Solo Sikoa doesn't. Solo Sikoa is a geek. Solo Sikoa is a loser. This dude stinks.
They're all superstars.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, he's just a star then. No need for the
big S superstar.
Yeah. But Solo Sikoa is bad, so it's like, what are you gonna do? Roman's amazing. And when I say Roman's amazing, I mean this guy is so over. So handsome. So everything that you could hope for.
Has he gotten more cut? Like,
oh my god! I was looking. I was like, "Is this the best shape of his life?"
Was his stomach weird? Always like this? Or like,
It wasn't weird, but I was like, "He's ripped. Like this guy is in the best shape of his life."
His breathing, like I never noticed his stomach looking like that previously, and I couldn't get. I was so distracted. Anyways,
I think he's just a beautiful man. So he
boy.
lost his eyes type thing. What was I talking about?
You're talking about getting lost in the eyes of.
Oh yeah. So I think he was great. Like I legitimately thought he was great at everything he does because he doesn't have to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
He just has to exist.
I thought about that in terms of like, The Rock obviously coming back all the time, and all these wrestlers coming back, and how at a certain point they kind of get locked into a gimmick, right?
Yeah.
I'm thinking about like Roman in the next like 20 to 30 years when he's like super old, him just coming back, and all he has to do is just kind of stand there and point. And he's over. He
won. He won. At the end of all this, he won. But like the crowd's so into him.
Goldberg to come out, he has to get mad, jump a barricade, do all these sort of things,
Well, yeah, and they were in Atlanta, so that helps.
Yeah.
If they weren't in Atlanta, it'd be different. But that's why Goldberg chants were happening.
Well, I'm sure they'll blow up that match in Atlanta as well. I'm sure. Anyway, you were saying.
I think everything Roman did in this match was like exactly what you want from him.
Mm-hmm.
I also think that Cody did a great job. It was really just like Solo, so slow and so boring and so useless that this was never going to be a good match.
No. I mean, that's the thing. Like the crowd is over. I thought the stinger splashed the outside. It was nice. Solo Sikoa wasn't interesting at all in this match. Jacob Fatu, I didn't think looked great. Like this guy's coming in the match and applying a nerve hold to Cody Rhodes. It's like, come on, Jacob, do something.
I think Fatu's fantastic. I think they just need to stop holding him back.
Yes, I agree that he's fantastic,
and I get why they are, because again, they're still trying to make this Solo thing happen. Mm-hmm. So they have to limit all his cool stuff. But the moment he hits the moonsault, it's like, oh, no one else matters in this side of things. Like he is so much cooler than everyone. Yeah. I do like that he, Cody had to do everything in his power to take him out. I did like that. And ultimately it all lays to Roman winning. Yada yada yada. And I thought the Jimmy Uso reveal was good. Mm-hmm. I thought that was very well done, the way they shot that. But it was exactly as I expected, and The Rock's back. So remember, every time you think WWE might slow down.
So where do you think this means we're going forward to? The next pay-per-view obviously is Crown Jewel. So
we know what Crown Jewel's for. Yeah. A Crown Jewel championship, of course.
Yeah, we'll get to
that belt, by the way, stupid.
But then the pay-per-view after this, of course, is then Survivor Series. You have to imagine
it's going to be Bloodline versus
Blood Pack versus the Bloodline, the Code Pack, the Code.
Blood. Yeah, that's going to be the Code Line versus
Blood Pack.
The Blood Pack.
So what is this team? We got Jacob Fatu, the Tongans, and
Solo.
And Solo as a 4. Then you got No Yeet. You got Cody probably and Roman.
I think you got to get Yeet in there.
You got to get Yeet. The return.
Imagine the pop. By the way, Roman Reigns is so powerful. He made Jey Uso one of the most popular wrestlers in professional wrestling.
I don't know if I would say he made.
He did. He elevated him to a single star.
Oh, I wouldn't. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
sure.
He did.
It took a while. He elevated to a single star, but then he really died as a wrestler. And
he did because they put him back in a tag team too, and then he said yeet once, and
that the history. If anything, Cody helped make him a star.
Yeah, but we can't give Cody credit in this company anymore. Roman's back.
Who's Jay or Cody?
I don't know. I'm gonna have to watch back the tape. I don't really want to. What was we? Anyways, let's just.
Is The Rock involved in the War Games match in any capacity?
No, he will destroy everything in his body if he's in that match.
Yeah.
Imagine if he was, though. That'd be pretty awesome.
Be interesting.
No, I think he's looking to kill Cody and Roman now that they're together. I don't really know how back he is, though, because we know he's not wrestling to WrestleMania. We're not crazy. Right? Like Rock. Yeah, like he's not going to wrestle before that. So what are you doing? Are you planting the next seeds to get there? Probably. So yeah, I think the next spot is War Games with Yeet and Kevin Owens attacked
that was
Cody
the next
too.
thing I was going to bring up. But,
so it won't be Cody and Randy like it was. Randy and Kevin like it was looking to be with Roman.
Mm-hmm. So especially with no Yeet back, then it's got to be a no Yeet. It's got to be Yeet, and you got to put Mr. Roman Reigns over there. Oh,
definitely gonna put Roman in the match. Yeah, that makes sense.
Got to do OTC, Yeet, no Yeet, and Cody Rhodes.
Cody. Yeet,
rub.
No Yeet, OTC, Cody.
Yeah. After the show, Kevin Owens attacks
Banks.
Cody Rhodes in a parking lot. This is not aired on television. They're obviously going to probably air this on SmackDown, I guess. Raw, I don't know. But yeah, it was for the fans leaving State Farm Arena in that sort of tunnel area. Yeah, so I don't know how I feel about that per se. I think it's a nice sort of angle to run, but they've kind of been bubbling. It's this idea that they've been bubbling things up on television and then blowing it off not on television seems weird to me, but it's fine. It's totally fine. I don't care. Which is also interesting. So then it's Kevin Owens going to be Cody at some point. But, and I'll tie this into the news about the Crown Jewel title. Cody, when is he going to defend that title next? Not at Crown Jewel. Probably not at Survivor Series. We're not going to see
Friday Night SmackDown.
Yeah. It's probably going to have to be on the SmackDown at some point. Otherwise, he is not defending the title until there's no pay-per-views in December. Royal Rumble? February
he's on that Roman schedule? Oh, wait, no. Saturday night's the main event.
I was just about to say, when is Saturday night's main event? Also, that's way too far away, though, by the way.
That's going to be him and Roman, I bet.
Oh, maybe.
Pop a big number.
Saturday night main event, December 14th on primetime. That's still ways away.
It's October 6th. Right now.
Yeah.
Holy. I mean, it's not that long in WWE realm, though.
No, because they can do the Crown Jewel and stuff. They'll do Survivor Series, but it's like
maybe they'll do Kevin on SmackDown before that.
I think they're going to do Kevin on SmackDown. I think you know what it is. I'll talk about this because we'll talk about the Crown Jewel Championship. The Crown Jewel Championship, they unveiled this. Triple H unveiled it because he has to make an appearance on all of his goddamn shows.
Yep.
Even a behind-the-scenes backstage camera has to be shown. Triple H. This guy's all over these pay-per-views because, hey, look, if you like what you're seeing on television, if you can't wrestle and you still want to be the most over guy in this company, and you can't be seen as a wrestler. If you like the storylines, just know that Triple H booked them all, so he's got to be the most over guy. So the Crown Jewel
Triple H fan, huh?
The title is massive, and the idea of the title
massive
because they are no longer doing a Survivor Series, and they held the champion versus champion aspect of Survivor Series for the past couple of years. They are instead taking that idea, having the male and female world champions face each other to each win the Crown Jewel Championship. Now, granted, it's interesting that they have the male and female wrestlers facing each other and only showed one title belt. That's beyond the point.
It's so big, they're just going to break it in half.
That's hilarious.
Remember Lay Cool?
Isn't that what the Lay Cool? I was going to say the old Progress title belts, tag title belts from like 2016. Yeah, I think the tag title belts were like yin yang things that like they broke apart. I don't remember. Anyways, so basically what we're looking at right now is that it could be Gunther versus Cody Rhodes. In this segment, Gunther comes out, obviously, and kind of sets up a match with Goldberg, who is in there in the audience, in Atlanta, Georgia, obviously. Kind of sets up a match, like I said, with Goldberg. Goldberg even says, you're next. Triple H says, yeah, we're having conversations basically in the backstage press conference area. So Is it going to be Gunther versus Cody at Crown Jewel?
Mhm.
Or is Gunther going to lose the title on Monday Night Raw to Sami Zayn, leaving it to be Sami Zayn versus Cody at Crown Jewel, and then Gunther versus Goldberg in Saudi Arabia?
It's just going to be Gunther and Cody.
Yeah.
There's no way Goldberg's ready to wrestle a match.
Hey, he's been talking about this for at least a year.
I understand that, but he has to like be game ready. And I've watched like his documentaries and stuff. That guy goes through like a training camp for like 2 months to wrestle for 5 minutes. Okay.
Well, he could have. The one was the Bret Hart angle with that was like a month ago.
3-4 weeks ago.
So 2 months out from Crown Jewel, they do the Bret Hart angle.
I just don't see them doing babyface versus babyface world champion thing.
You think for Gunther, or what do you mean?
For Crown Jewel championship, I don't see them doing Sammy and Cody.
I think the fact that I agree that I don't see them doing babyface versus babyface, but I also
just want Gunther versus Cody. Have we considered this?
I have pitched it for months now.
I know you have.
It at WrestleMania or whatever. Yeah. Here's the thing. I agree that they might not do face versus face. However, it's not for a title per se. It's for like
sure.
And you just had Kevin Owens turn on Cody, aka Sami Zayn's friend. There's an extra dynamic of the Kevin Owens aspect of it all that it gets added into this match if you do Sami versus Cody.
Well, I really don't want Gunther to be facing Goldberg, so I'm going to just keep pitching against it. I also, because, okay, here's my actual reasoning. I think they're doing Gunther and CM Punk at Survivor Series.
I also agree. I feel like that makes more sense.
I think that's the direction, more than the Goldberg aspect, more than the Sami Zayn aspect. I think the reason I don't see that match happening at Crown Jewel is because Gunther's facing CM Punk for the title, and that's probably the biggest match they have for that belt. So,
and look, we talked about like Willow and Danielson, all these sort of things. What I just pitched to you is Sami Zayn winning the world title tomorrow.
Right, like that's not happening.
No way. That feels so wrong. That feels
that
so.
Would be that would be very un-WWE. That would be very un-WWE to do that with someone like a Zayn. They would hot shot a belt. Don't get me wrong. They do that all the time. But not a big moment like it would be for Sami Zayn.
Agreed. It would feel incredibly incorrect. It wouldn't work at all.
Yeah. I mean, who do you think's going to win the Crown Jewel Championship?
Who gives a fuck? I don't care, man. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean anything. It's in Saudi Arabia. Who gives a shit about
Cody and Gunther will be pretty good.
Tell me when I'm telling lies.
No, you're right. You're right.
It's it's one of those things. It's one of those gimmicks. Who gives a shit? Gunther versus Cody should be very good.
Also, they're doing Liv Morgan versus Nia Jax. I just realized that.
And hey, you just said face versus face.
I know. That's 10 times worse.
Look. I can make it very simple for you. They're doing heel versus heel. Well, no, they're going to do heel versus heel for the Crown Jewel Championship for the women's match. That way, the Saudi Arabia crowd can just boo all the women. Is that what's happening here? Is that what's happening here?
Oh, God.
And beyond that horrendous joke, Tiffany Stratton cashes in the title.
She's a babyface. She's on her way to being a babyface. She's on her way to being one.
If she cashes in the title, is it for the Crown Jewel title?
No, that's a valid question.
Which of the 3 titles is it for?
She looked at the Crown Jewel title and said, "Ooh, that one's shiny. I want that one."
Yeah, the nice big one.
Her cashing in that match, could she win all 3 of them?
Now we're talking. Woo, baby, let's go.
I've been all aboard that Tiffany Stratton should have a title train. So all of them.
Yeah, let's just put all
the real story.
Anyways.
We talking about that match, how bad it was?
The Morgan Ripley?
Yeah.
I was about to bring that up next. Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley for the WWE Women's World Title match. Dominic Mysterio hung next to the ring in a shark cage match.
I was asking myself, are they gonna have like him sticking through this Hell in a Cell? And I was like, oh no, they did it on the side. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't think about that at first. I forgot that there was a Hell in a Cell because I was like so confused. It's like it's nowhere close to the ring, right?
Yeah.
It's like why is it not in the middle of the ring or any of this stuff? It's
Yeah.
always suspended above the ring or even next to it. Why is
Yeah.
it like why is he all the way over there? And then I
Sure,
realized,
sure.
and then in this moment, you just said the Hell in a Cell thing. I said, oh, okay,
Yeah.
yeah. Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley. What do you think of this match? Stunk up the joint, right?
Stunk. They're just treading water until Rhea inevitably wins the title back. So it's a waste of time. Every part of this is a waste of time.
Dominic is way more over than either woman in this match.
Oh yeah.
I didn't really hear a single Rhea
This
Ripley.
was the worst Rhea pop. This was the worst Rhea pop I've seen so far. And I think it's because the crowd's getting tired of this.
Yes. I barely heard any chants for Rhea Ripley. I only heard chants about Dirty Dom, and he was not even in the match. He was in a shark cage.
Yeah, it's not good. The matches aren't good. And the finish was terrible.
Finish is terrible. The stuff in it doesn't make any sense. The referee, Rhea Ripley telling the referee, "Give me a minute. I have some unfinished business." The referee being like, "You deserve that."
That was terrible.
Horrendous.
Though I did like the announcer to be like, "Wait, what? What the hell did you just say?"
I don't know if you caught this, but I think the implication here is that Rhea Ripley. You have the moment where Dom falls out of the cage. Now he's suspended in the air. Rhea Ripley, says, "Give me 1 minute. I have unfinished business." The ref says, "Yeah, sure, whatever. I don't care. I'm only a referee." Then she grabs a kendo stick and says, "This is like a happy birthday to me," or something like that.
Yeah.
Are they implying that like he's a piñata?
I would assume so. Yeah, because he's hanging
during Hispanic Heritage Month.
All right, now you're going way too deep. I don't know.
I'm just saying that. I'm just saying, like, I don't see color. I only see talent. You know what I'm saying? That's all what I'm saying about Triple H.
Actually, Rhea Ripley's birthday is October 11th.
Oh, very interesting.
So actually, it is her birthday this week.
I fear that they are implying that in that moment.
No, it's just his birthday this week. It's her birthday this week. She's just beating. Listen, okay. Here's my basis on this match.
They have a Hispanic man hanging up in the air. She's got a thing. It's her birthday.
Raquel Rodriguez coming back. Who cares? None of this is good.
Also, bad comeback. It looked
terribly
weird.
done.
It didn't work. Like,
terribly done. Throw it in the trash. I didn't like Britt Baker's match this week. This was worse. Congratulations.
Apparently, in the press conference, Triple H accidentally called her Raquel Gonzalez.
Is that not her name?
No, her name is, I believe, Raquel Rodriguez.
It was Gonzalez.
Was Gonzalez. So I'll give him a pass.
Which one did I say?
I believe you said Rodriguez.
Oh, shouts out to me for being right.
Yeah,
I had no clue when you just said Gonzalez.
I bring that up only because of the Triple H. I don't see color line of then you got the implied pinatification of Dominic Mysterio and then confusing the Hispanic last name of one of your wrestlers.
Are you telling me you're not a fan of Triple H? Is that just say it?
Look, I'm just starting to think that Triple H is racist. Is that too much to say? All these things putting together. I don't know. I'm just starting to think that he might be racist. This guy's over here tugging his collar.
Moving on.
Should we talk about that part? Should we talk about the comment? I don't see color.
I didn't see the comment, so I don't know what
that was. The quote. The quote is literally, I don't see color. I only see talent, which was.
Wasn't that the Vince McMahon quote?
That was The Rock quoting Vince McMahon in the McMahon documentary. The exact same.
Okay, I thought so. Yeah, that's a move. That's a move.
One of the many things about the documentary that people are raking over the coals about is that comment and that seemingly being okayed in the show. And then, so it's another round of Triple H having poor PR on these press conferences. It's real bad. And look, like,
Yeah.
we've talked about it before. We talked about it when the topic of conversation came up, whether it hasn't been any black male wrestlers on your pay-per-views, let alone winning in the past 2 years. Last time a black male wrestler won on a pay-per-view, it was Bobby Lashley, who has now left the company, being booked by Vince McMahon to win that match. And look, if the guy wants to say that he doesn't see black wrestlers as having, he doesn't see color, he only sees talent, then to me, as I said that quote to my wife, Scotty, this isn't a quote by me. This is a quote by Jesse, who isn't in the weeds like we are. Her response was, "Well, then why does he think black people don't have any talent?" Because that's the quote. That's the headline. Is like, if then why is it always, if you don't see color, then why are you putting all these races together in factions? If you don't see color, then why is it that only black men who are seemingly untalented? If you don't see color, you only see talent, then why are only black men not talented to you? Right? These are important questions to ask, and this guy is purposefully ducking under bars. He can't even clear them. He is purposely
can't even clear them.
Look, and I also understand I am a white man. I am coming from no real place of cultural identity with any of these people, any black people, Hispanic people, anyone else in this company, Asian people that all get grouped together weirdly enough by Triple H. I understand that I'm a white man, but it is very frustrating to see all the stuff happen and then hear the comments echoed from the Vince McMahon documentary.
I mean, he's the worst press conference person ever.
Yes.
There's a reason Vince didn't do them, by the way.
Because whenever we watched the McMahon documentary, anytime he would do an interview with a Bob Costas one, he would just get mad at the other guy because he sucked at them.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
Because the problem is either Triple H is like doing PR and the PR team is agreeing to something and he's either like doing what the PR team agrees to or actively ignoring it, or they're not doing any PR for Triple H and then having to fix everything on the back end. Like every single conference comes up, he gets asked one of these questions, tough questions, and he has nothing to say good about it. He's even bad at doing non-answers. The Janelle Grant lawsuit question gets bring up to him. He's like, I didn't even read it. A non-answer that is still an answer, but also like a bad version of it. You didn't read it. What are you talking about? You're practically named in it. Like you're on the board. You knew about all of the stuff happening. It's this guy is so bad at this, and it's frustrating to then see this guy all over my television screen. Get out of here. Anyways, I'm going to stop tiring about this. I have big feelings about it, but I also understand that I should not be the most upset about this.
I just let you go, man.
I think WWE fans should be upset about this, and specifically WWE fans who are minorities should be extremely upset about these dumbass comments. And look, that's my opinion, but I understand where I'm coming from. Damian Priest defeats Finn Balor, 12 minutes and 50 seconds. I thought this match was good, and that's all the notes I had for it.
Yeah, I don't have any interest in these two. So it was fine.
Mm-hmm. I think it was totally. It served its purpose. It was good. Priest gets the win. We move along, right? There's nothing to write home about this match.
No, not at all. It's very forgettable, and that's kind of how I feel about Finn Balor in the year 2024. So, I mean, I don't like Damian Priest either, but
yeah.
Do
we move forward with Damian Priest?
Well, they will because they love him and crowds like him. So,
but we move forward with Damian Priest. He beats the Judgment Day Finn Balor.
What is next for Damian Priest?
That's what I'm asking. Is he's where we move forward with him, because you also have Rhea Ripley, who just got screwed over out of the world title match and is obviously continuing the feud with Liv Morgan. And obviously, I think that's being spun off into Raquel.
It's obvious. Damian Priest versus Raquel Rodriguez.
Now we're talking, baby. But it's like obviously Rhea is still involved, and even if she gets spin off with Raquel, she's still going to be involved with Liv Morgan stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Is Damian Priest just still like hanging around, or what is he doing? You know, he finished his
You know,
feud.
it was crazy watching the 2 women's matches on the show. Not to avoid the Damian Priest part, but honestly,
there's nothing to talk
you and me both know we neither of us really care. My thing on them is the women's side. I was like, man, they have so many talented women, and they are still doing the same matches that they did at SummerSlam.
Yeah,
Bianca Belair has done nothing all year.
She hosted the show. What are you talking about?
She was on there for 2 seconds.
She hung out in the same
Bianca
as
Belair.
Lil Gotti.
Bianca Belair. Okay. Bianca Belair is one of the most talented singles competitors in the company.
Yes. She
And
proved
they're
that in a random singles match with Io Sky the other week.
Well, to be fair, this is Io Sky, so you know.
Well, it's also Bianca Belair.
I think those two get a lot more excited to wrestle each other than like everyone else in the company. I watched that match.
A match like that, that could be a world title match on a pay-per-view.
It has been, and it was great when they did it. Once upon a time in Puerto Rico.
Yes.
Backlash. The one with Bad Bunny. Oh, remember Bad Bunny? They should bring him back.
Bad Blood.
What was it? I think like it's preposterous. And then I'm sitting here, I'm like, man, I can't believe how many WWE fans like, oh, Becky Lynch wins too much. I was like, no, you miss Becky Lynch right now. I miss Becky Lynch right now. And I don't follow this product. But it's like even without Becky Lynch, they have the talent there. They just don't use them. So in the end, it's their fault.
Yeah, I agree.
So, like, you can't have Io Sky and Bianca Belair and Tiffany Stratton and like all these like really good, talented, new people. Honestly, Bianca still feels new to me because like she's disappeared. So like I feel like she's new again. I
also feel like
I was champion, but
similar to like an Asuka type. I talked about this in the ballot episode about Asuka. Similar to Asuka, I think Bianca Belair also has this ability to like. I feel like she stayed over this entire time.
Yeah, like you're right.
During all of this, even like her down periods, especially now, stayed over.
Yeah, they also got. I don't know. I've watched a lot of the EO stuff from Raw lately because I just want to see like how she's doing. And she's very over as a babyface. I'm like, you have all these people that are over, and you're still running in place with Liv Morgan.
Yeah, and Rhea Ripley.
Like, I understand Rhea's one of their big stars and whatnot, but like, come on, man, let's get it on.
We can talk about this. Move on. It's a good point to bring up. Is like the main event scene with like Roman and stuff, the Bloodline, The Rock. Someone tweeted out, and I think it's a little hyperbolized, but I still think it very much holds true. Someone tweeted out basically like, "This is the next 3 years of main events."
Yeah,
is the Bloodline stuff. Like it's still so hot, and it's still like
if it wasn't working, it'd be different, but it is. Right? Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley, not working anymore.
Fully agree. So they need to go off of that, and they have an off point right now for Raquel, but it's still obviously still tied to Liv. So
I don't understand how your direction isn't Rhea and Bianca.
Agreed.
At WrestleMania, and I don't think it will be. I think it'll be Bianca and Jade.
But they're not doing anything with that. They're just waiting.
Yeah, and I can't say this enough. I give up on Jade. So
agreed. Nia Jax defeats Bayley, WB Women's title match. I thought this was pretty good. Nia Jax kind of impressed me for a little bit, and then the botches started.
Yeah.
And then
it was better than the other one.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely better than the Rhea Ripley Liv Morgan match. But I was very nervous coming onto this podcast, by the way, because I was going to at a certain point I was like, man, I'm looking at Nia Jax and I'm like, this is Bad Blood. She's wearing all red. Obviously red, this being where like Kane debuted many years ago at Bad Blood, right? And I'm thinking to myself, I was like,
you thought Kane was going to interfere in this match?
No, I thought like, maybe she's doing a Kane cosplay. Maybe would it be mean of me to say like,
yes,
doing the
don't say it.
Doing like the nicknames for like Kane and whatnot, and I was like, but I don't really know if she's doing that, so I think it could be like mean. And then Tiffany Stratton comes out, does the spot, where she's thinking about maybe cashing in, and Nia Jax sits up like Kane. I'm like, oh, okay, she's 100% doing a Kane cosplay.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah, you were right. Okay, no, that's fair. I don't think it was mean.
Well, the mean part would be like, would it be mean if I said, okay, here's Nia Jax cosplaying as the Big Red Machine, right? Like that's the part where I was like, is that mean? Is that
not
fat-phobic?
said it?
I don't think is that fat phobic? I'm not sure. She's literally doing a cosplay of Kane at that point, so that I was like, I don't know anymore. So, anyways, Nia Jax versus Bayley. I didn't think it was. I think it was good. The botches, the Hurricane Rana, and I can't remember the other one was, but the Hurricane Rana was the one that's really getting all the talking points.
I thought the finish was good.
Yeah.
Which was, I thought that was good. I think when it comes to Bayley and Nia, I've seen it, so I wasn't like expecting much else. Though I thought they had a good structured match. I think that's where
I was impressed by Nia Jax's like technical ability popping out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa,
yeah, Nia was good in this match. For the most part. I mean, the Hurricane spot was egregious. I don't even know why we tried that. It's fine to try new things, but I think Bayley's good. I think Bayley's biggest bright point in this part of her career is structuring.
Sure. Yeah.
A match. I think that's why, like, her matches, even with my expectations, exceed them.
Yep.
I don't have high, but like she usually does a really good job at putting a match together. And I think her and Nia did pretty well here at putting the match together. And it made for I thought the finish was really well done.
Yeah.
With Tiffany like trying to help Nia, but she sees the briefcase in the ref's hand. It's like, hold on. I thought that was well done. And Tiffany's going to be so over as a babyface. I didn't expect her to be a babyface at the end of all this, but it's working. And when she becomes champion, they're going to love her. I wish she was champion now, but that's besides the point. And I'm interested to see where that story, considering I thought it was stupid when they first put it together, I think is actually doing better than I ever thought, from what I've seen at least.
I feel like Bayley would be good coach, producer. Maybe not coach.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
In the future,
I think that's her long-term future, to be fair. And I think she'll be very good at it. Like, she feels like the perfect replacement for like Amato. I don't even know if Amato still coaches.
Like the female coach of the PC.
Yeah,
that does feel like.
So I think Bayley's very good at.
I don't know if Amato still works for WWE.
I'm gonna guess she does. I feel like I would have been. I feel like I would know if she wasn't.
Yes. I think if she is, she's the only female coach of the thing. Yes, she's still there. She's still in the company, but she is the only female coach of the PC currently. Because remember they hired that other woman in the pandemic? I forget her name.
Oh, yeah. They got Sarah Stock.
Sarah Stock, yes. They hired her and then like immediately fired her.
Yeah.
God, this company.
Classic.
Opening match of this pay-per-view was the Hell in a Cell match between CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. I thought this was
great.
Great match. We got double blade jobs.
Good blade jobs too.
I would say CM Punk.
Well, Punk's faded away.
Toweled away. CM Punk also knows how to do a blade and stuff. And I saw Drew's blade job, and I thought to myself, "This guy's never bladed before in his life." This guy, he probably has. Like, I don't know if he's done it on the Indies, but I just
incredible blade job though. He was a fountain.
He was a fountain. Like, even when toweling it away, the referee being like, "I gotta clean you off." It's like, it doesn't even matter.
He toweled it away, and then it just was back. Like the whole entire forehead was red again. I was like,
he was
nice.
gushing the entire match. I thought this match was legitimately great. The beads at the end were a little silly, but it was part of the
I expected it. The moment he picked up that bag, I was like, they're gonna be beads.
I mentioned the show. Like, my pitch for that involving the beads was doing like handcuffs, right? With like the beads.
Yeah.
That's something on it. Like,
you knew some sort of beads were gonna be here.
You can't deny that it's been part of the story.
Gonna be here. Sorry.
No, that's a joke I love. You can't deny that since it has been part of the story, it has to still be involved in the thing. So I think of how they involved it in such a limited capacity in that way, I think worked. It was silly, but it still worked. But the beats have been silly the whole time. The blade jobs are great. The work I thought was great. The brutality in the match I thought was great.
Yeah.
That table bump to the outside sounded like the went off.
I saw Punk take that. I was like, "What are you doing, dude?" I was like, "Why are you take?" I was like, "Well, you're probably not going to wrestle the like Survivor Series, so it's probably fine."
Yeah.
But
Punk,
I was like, "Man,
injury watch has started." I'll say that much. Who knows? But
see, like, okay, this is not a mean thing towards him, but like, out of all the matches he's had over the past couple of years, this is the match I'd be like, "Oh yeah, you should be injured after this because of the bumps you took." The Claymore miss onto the steel steps.
Ooh, the tail bump.
Awful. It was great, but it was awful. This was a great match. Reminded me that CM Punk's great.
Yeah, his exhaustion selling early in the match I thought was really good.
He's really good. Drew's really good. This was the match I was waiting for.
Yes, this is what the match the entire feud should have been. Maybe not.
And honestly, the first two matches the first match not hitting, the second getting better, made this even better almost.
I think that's largely true. I wish it wasn't true, but I think that's true.
Yeah, I wish it wasn't true. One of the best WWE matches of the year.
I wish we had 3 great matches. That's what I would
prefer. Yeah, that would have been awesome. That would have been cool. But this one was so great that like it washes away a lot of it definitely washes away the first one, which was terrible.
I thought Drew ripping off the legs of the table was very cool. I don't remember ever seeing a spot like that where someone
was freakish.
Rips the legs off the table. I like that a lot. Again,
I was like, wow, what a beast.
The referee saying, the referee sucks. I wrote down my notes. The referee sucks. The quote, "Gotta wipe your face off."
Yeah, I liked when Drew threw it at the end. He's like, "Fuck off." I was like, "I'm not."
He's like, "Fuck off," and the ref's like, I gotta wipe your face off," and then just takes it real quickly and then throws it out of the ring.
He's like, "There, done."
And then he immediately starts bleeding again, so it doesn't even matter.
To be fair, Drew's blood was really bad.
But I'm thinking to myself, is like, so that whole idea is for the advertisers, right? And I'm thinking to myself, that's not a big deal. One of your advertisers is literally the largest injury law firm in the United States.
Just if anything, it's pushing the business for them.
Run this match, then cut to a commercial for Morgan.
That's funny.
Speaking of, any thoughts on the Saucy Nugs? Any thoughts on the Saucy Nugs?
I want to try them.
They're just what, like boneless chicken wings at this point?
Yeah, but they're by Wendy's.
Well, that's a good point.
I'll never try them probably, but it's nice to think of it. They're coming with a Krabby Patty this week. I learned too.
Is it Wendy's that's doing that?
Yeah,
I saw someone on Twitter post that, hey, Wendy's is having us make a Krabby Patty, and they posted the how-to instructions on how to make the Krabby Patty, and then they took the secret formula sauce and took a picture of all the ingredients as part of the secret formula sauce, and someone said, like Plankton's POV, "Crabs, I've got you now."
But yeah, this match was great. One of the best WWE matches of the year.
Give us a rating.
I went 4.25.
Same. I went
4.25. I thought it was everything you wanted it to be. Like, I think I have no requests, like nothing else. Yeah, I could have done without the beads, but I knew the beads were coming in some form, so I live with it.
And I think for how they came about, I think it was totally fine.
Yeah, and I do love the finish of putting the beads in his mouth, hitting the first. By the way, first person ever to know to figure out how to put the chain on your knee and actually keep it there. I feel like I've watched that spot like 10 times the past 5 years, and they never get it to stay.
My favorite version of that spot was Dax Harwood putting the chain around his head. That was a Briscoe match, I think.
Yeah, it was.
With the chain around his head and it keeps falling off, and it's just like that was one of the spots in the match. I was like, this ruins the match. Just like slows it to a halt. I'm just seeing a guy struggle to wrap a chain around his head. That's
why I was so happy that Punk had the things at the end of him. Mm-hmm. They knew to put so it would stay instead of just like act like the chain wasn't just gonna fall down the leg.
Yeah, it's so silly.
Great match though.
Great match.
The real main event of the show happened right off the rip. So if you didn't see it, you didn't see anything good on the show probably.
What do you think about the use of blood, and especially the blade jobs? My I guess cousin-in-law, right? I think it's my cousin-in-law, has like gotten into WWE via Peacock from WrestleMania a couple years ago, and they're fully
the Peacock.
fan. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Jesse was messaging her last night, and she was saying that she, what isn't a fan of the blood. I was just thinking to myself, like, that's such like a modern WWE sports entertainment thought process. But I also saw
I thought the blood was great.
I saw another person tweet out. It was the guy that runs the after-school kid.
Oh yeah,
club.
Perry. Yeah.
Also tweet that he didn't like the blood, and I was just sort of thinking of like this new wave of people that like just don't want blood in their wrestling.
I think the way WWE now uses blood is like perfect for them when it matters. They use it when it matters.
Sure.
And this was like the match. I always thought Hell in a Cell matches without blood was stupid as hell.
Agreed.
Because I grew up watching Hell in a Cell matches. Well, old Hell in a Cell matches. And I always saw blood, and then when they just got rid of it, I was like, well, this is stupid. I think blood's important. I think blood helps tell a story. I think blood perfectly helped tell the story of how much these two hate each other. Right? This was a blood feud. I think blood, and I knew Punk would use blood correctly. I know people don't like CM Punk anymore. I get it. But he's a very smart pro wrestler when he's putting a match together. And I thought they nailed the blood in this. The way that he got opened up with the cell. Remember, Ryan, I said last week, use the cell as part of the match. Don't make it about the cell.
Now, I don't think they used it enough.
I agree.
Yes.
I agree. I think they could have used it more, but they used it correctly. To open them up. And then the toolbox spot, I was like, well, anyone should bleed from that. That looked like it fucking killed.
No one should have bled that much from a toolbox.
No. I was like, that man took blood thinners. That man just got a blade and was like, let's see what happens. Oh, man. Poor Drew. But yeah, no, I think the blood was greatly used. I mean, I know someone that doesn't like blood in wrestling, but they watch and like, see, that's how you use blood. And I was like, yeah, I agree. Was it a small shot at AEW? Probably. However, we ignore, we move on, and I say, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I think it's also like an exposure thing. Obviously, like WB like barely has any blood in it. Like
they're starting to use it a lot more now.
At least not intentionally. I don't remember the last intentional blood.
Cody once against someone.
Oh, maybe
against The Rock.
Yeah,
with The Rock.
Yes, it was with The Rock.
I wish I could remember that promo so I could quote it. He just kept saying the same thing like 100 times. Look at you now, boy.
The Rock, famously Southern. Where's The Rock
born? Where's The Rock born?
Yeah, where was The Rock?
California, Miami, Florida. He was in Florida.
Mr. 305.
He went to school in Miami. I don't know if he's from Miami, but I think Florida. Whatever. Can we end this show?
No, we gotta talk about Stardom Nagoya Golden Fight real quick.
All right, it's fine.
Main event: Tam Nakano defeats Suzuki in World Stardom title match. I didn't finish this match before we started recording. But
you didn't?
I did not. I was almost.
It was good.
Almost. And then my microphone went to shit. My headphones.
It was very good. Probably Suzu's best singles performance this year. I wouldn't say it was great, but I'd say it was very good. It had the Tamness of it, which is like, okay, let's go up the ramp, let's do this. And I'm like, all right, I'm already sick of this. Like, can we stop doing this? But I thought, hard hitting, very, very strong in that I thought Suzu looked good in defeat, but then she was like, I can't wait for Tam Road Part 2 after. I'm like, my friend pointed this out, like, is it in everyone's contract after they lose to Tam to be like, you're the greatest? It's like, why are we doing this? Micah did it too when she lost. I was like, can we stop? No, it's not. Whatever. Good match.
8.88 on Cage Match. Sounds like you're saying that's a little too high.
Why is it every time I don't love a match, it's so high on Cage Match? I went 3 3/4. I was pretty happy with it.
I wonder. Here's a legitimate thought. Has Stardom found a fan base, at least in America, or I guess also Europe
I
or
don't
wherever.
know. It's AEW fans, so you figure that out.
Yeah, have they found a fan base that isn't like a bunch of like the Marigold, like people, like obviously a bunch of Marigold fans left Stardom, quote unquote. Like I think there's a good portion of people that left. Obviously, you still watch Stardom because of your coverage, but like, do you feel like I feel like they've found like a new fan base, and maybe it is simply because it's more of an American fan base and they're being exposed to this for the first
That's
time.
probably why. I don't know. I feel like anyone rating this match that high hasn't watched a lot of TAM matches. It was still really good, and I liked it, but it's definitely not 8.8.
Summer main event IWGP Women's Title match. Mayu Iwatani defeats Toni Storm. I thought this match was really good.
I thought this was the best Toni Storm match I've watched in forever.
That's probably accurate.
I thought this was very well done. I thought these two clicked very well, which I didn't know. If I didn't know how it would go, but I think Toni just being Toni Storm was nice, and I think that's why she's doing this.
Some spots,
but like
doing the arm twist,
sure, but like most of her offense is her old offense, and I don't know. This is probably the best match I've seen her have since I don't know, maybe the match with Hayter once upon a time.
Yeah, at least not in this gimmick. I don't think.
Oh, so for sure. And Mayu's great. So that's about it. I mean, Mayu's now beaten Monet. I mean, I think I tweeted it yesterday, but her list of people she's beaten in this title reign is like incredible. Sari, Vaquer, Fujimoto, Toni Storm, Shuri, and Mina Shirakawa. She's beaten a worldwide grouping, and they still like kind of don't care about this title. Like the title's just forgotten. That's the problem.
There could be a reason for that. There could be a reason why. I thought of that in the moment where she breaks the trophy after the match, where it's like, oh, that sucks. Well, sucks for a couple months, maybe.
It's not the first time she's broken a trophy.
Oh, I know.
She's done it multiple times, which is funny. But yeah, I thought this was my favorite match on the show.
She truly is the Tanahashi of Stardom.
That's true. This was my favorite match on the show. We'll talk about the Wonder match. This and the Hazuki Starlight Kid match. Which Hazuki Starlight Kid match was very well done, I thought.
Wonder of Stardom title match. Natsupoi defeats Tekla. We have a question here from Carl Carpenter. Are you surprised Tekla is still in Stardom even after Julia left?
Yeah, I don't want to be mean, but I think she tried to leave because remember, if everyone she took a break.
She disappeared for quite a while.
Yeah, then she came back. I feel like she was maybe gonna leave, and then no one wanted her. Don't mean that sounded so rude, so harsh. But I'm a little surprised, but she's.
I wonder if she tried to get
thing.
NXT.
I know her and Clark Connors are a thing. NXT or AEW, by the way. I think she tried for both of them.
Sure. Just trying to get.
I think AEW might sign her eventually. But she's with Clark Connors, so it worked out for her.
If I'm AEW, I would sign her.
Please do. It means I don't have to watch her anymore.
I truly don't understand it, but I'm not in the thing. Stardom fans don't seem to like her for whatever reason.
And AEW fans love her.
Yes, as I've always enjoyed Tekla.
So
I've enjoyed Tekla from day one when she came to this company, and I think she would actually be a perfect natural fit in AEW.
She makes sense for AEW.
Mariah May, Jamie Hayter, like she would be a great like addition to like what
I think it's inevitable.
I agree. I fully agree.
I'm happy they put her title match on the show with Toni Storm. Hopefully Tony Khan sees.
Possibly.
Take her away. I hated this match, by the way.
What about Tekla? Can I ask this question? What about Tekla?
I think she's a very bland wrestler. And I don't like her over dramatized things.
Her Western sort of style.
Well, she's just the war dog.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Like she's a very Western.
You know how I feel about the war dogs. Except for David Finlay. Shouts out to the big man. Love David Finlay. Yeah. The thing about this match is I just found it boring. Like at parts. Some of it was good. Like, so their history gave me hope. I just think like I know she's better. I think that's my problem with heel Tekla is I know she's better than this, but heel means she slowed down her style and just wrestles methodically. And I don't watch that. I don't watch Joshi to watch methodical wrestling.
Yeah. I get that.
I think she'd benefit greatly from just not doing that. Because I do think, like, I've seen her have good matches. She has good strikes and things like that, but it's the methodical, slow. It makes her bland, and she shouldn't be bland.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she is someone that has a personality that obviously jumps off the page. That's why AEW fans have taken notice to her and like her. I just think like it's mostly the heel version of her now that's really like.
That's fair. And I mean, if you look across the plane of Stardom right now, it's maybe just Japan in general. It's like a lot of that. It's like a lot of like the Western heel, slow your roll, slowed everything down. And it's just it's too much.
I agree. I think they had good work in this match, but it's ultimately like not my takeaway.
I get you.
Of like greatness.
4-way tag team match. God's Eye, Lady C and Shuri defeat the team of Cosmic Angels, Neo Genesis, and Stars. I believe they pin Aya Sakura of Cosmic Angels, and it looks like they're going to be challenging for the tag titles at some point after this match.
Great. Not the match. The match is fine.
The match is totally fine. I think it would.
Shuri's just been there for so long. Like when I say just been there, I mean like doesn't get to do anything. Mm-hmm. So her winning was nice, but I was like, I'd like her to do more. I mean, this was a undercard tag, oddly placed. Like it was after the Kid and
Hazuki match.
So I was like, all right, whatever.
Yeah, is what it is. They're setting up a tag title match, so that's fine.
Yeah, which is what I expected out of this. So it's fine.
Starlight Kid defeats Hazuki.
Thought this was very well done. Hazuki rocks.
Right? I love Hazuki.
I say it every time she gets a big singles match, but like I said going into this, I want this to channel the Julia Starlight Kid matches of like we just fucking hate each other. Yeah. And it did. She tried to rip the mask.
Kind of.
You gotta give her some help there. Because that mask is very clearly well put together. It's like, they were trying. Next time, because obviously there's gonna be next time. She took her mask after the match after all. Next time, let's maybe do a little slice in there just so it rips a little bit more. I think they have something very special. This was just the beginning for them. I hope. I
You know me. I love Hazuki. I think she's the best part of FWC. Let that hang in the air for a second.
Yeah. No, I got you.
I love Hazuki.
I think most of the time she's the best thing in Stardom. So
I fully agree. I've been calling for her to win a title somewhere, somehow, for a very long time.
Anywhere.
You've called her like the best Wonder of Stardom title holder without holding the title.
Yes.
And I thought this match was really good. I don't think connected with it as much as you did. It felt like it had that.
I didn't go that high on it. I just liked where it's going.
Sure.
I liked I thought it accomplished what it set out to accomplish.
I didn't really like the instead of like back and forth fighting, it was more of like one person's going to do all of their offense to the other person, and then when that's over, the other person can do all of their offense to the other person.
Yeah.
I didn't really like that.
More back and forth.
Yeah, more back and forth, more consistent with the hate, I guess, for lack of a better term, from Hazuki, I guess, in the sort of heel turn that's happening with her, I guess. It was what I'm trying to say is that it was missing something, and I don't know entirely what it was. I can't pinpoint it, but it felt like it was missing something.
Yeah, I mean, again, for me, it felt like it was the first of continuation.
Yeah. What do you think it's leading to? Do you think it's leading to like some sort of like hair versus mask match, or do you think it's just leading to a
So
blow-off
okay,
eventually?
so admittedly, my number one worry in current Stardom, it leads to nothing. Like they just did this and they move on.
Oh, sure.
I am very much worried about that. I think it's a real possibility, but it should lead to some sort of major match. I'm wondering if they put it off long enough for the Wonder to be involved, because I know Starlight Kid wants the Wonder, and I'm guessing Starlight Kid's your next Wonder champion. At least it would make sense for her to be. So that's the part I'm not trying to. Me trying to figure out this booking this year has not been a good time.
Sure.
Been a chore, but I do think inevitably it leads to a major match for them, whether it be hair versus mask or something of the sorts. At least it should be. I don't know if it will be.
Yeah, that's just the question: is what is this gonna turn into? What is this gonna look like?
Right.
I didn't watch any of the matches on the show, so I'll get some quick thoughts here real quickly. 12-man tag team match: Hate, Zap, and Dump Matsumoto. Zap being Tomoyaka Watanabe, right? Defeat ENV and Rion, not me, Rion. Hanako, Maika, Mina Shirakawa, Waka Tsukiyama, and Zaina. What do you think about this match? What do you think about the quote-unquote return of Dump Matsumoto? At least the return in Stardom.
I mean, Dump's fun. She just is in there to hit someone with a stick.
Mm-hmm.
That's at this point she's 64 years old.
Yeah, there's a point where I'm just like seeing her, and I think it was Zap, I'm guessing, just like leaning in the corner while everyone else is just like sitting in the corner doing stuff.
Yeah, Dump doesn't get out of the ring. Like she just I'm legitimately saying this. She gets in the ring and then doesn't get out.
That's fine. Once you're in there, it's going to take a lot to get you back in.
Right. Like it pops me greatly. Dump's great. I have this whole sheet of Dump matches I'm about to start this week. So I'm excited to see her prime time.
You're going to go on a Dump?
Yep. Dump. But I did think it was smart to get her on the show.
Yeah. I fully agree.
Now, did they have a Dump-like character as world champion and didn't wait long enough for the show to come out to kind of elevate that? Yeah, sure. But hey, what do I know?
What do you think about the match itself?
Oh, it was fine. It was not great.
What another rating on Cage Match?
4.
Not enough for a proper vote. There's only been 2 votes, but if you take an average of the 2 votes, it's a 0.5.
Yeah. 0.5
out of 10.
Wow.
So a quarter star.
That's awesome.
1-0 and 1-1.
I mean, it wasn't good. I'm not gonna say it was good, but I knew what to expect going into it, and it was exactly what I expected, which was Dump, do her little, hit people with a stick and make Mina suffer, because that's what they do, and whatever. I'll quickly say Sayaka Watani versus Sayaka Carrara was fine.
Okay.
It was just because Carrara pinned her on a Corkin. And Rina, what?
Future of Stardom title match. Rina loses the title to Miyu Amasaki.
I thought this was really solid. One of the best Future of Stardom title matches ever, and ends the best reign the title's ever seen. Elevated Rina to new heights.
Versus Hanan? What are we talking about here?
Yeah, I think Rina got there by the end. Obviously, she had more defenses, longer reign, but I think she did a really good job elevating herself and having good opponents, good matches. Her and Amasaki have good chemistry, and I liked Amasaki winning. I always said when Rina won, Amasaki was the next champion. So I was right in the end. But yeah, good match, fine show. And historic crossovers coming for Great Okan versus Stardom wrestler.
Who's it going to be?
I was trying to figure that out, actually.
I've seen people pitch Shuri.
Please don't have Shuri have to wrestle Great Okan.
Shuri would be fun.
Yeah, but Shuri's good. Momo. It'll be Momo.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be Momo. Should we dump
And then, yeah, that's. By the way, I just want to say the quick thing about the tag match. Besides Desperado still not being able to walk, but making sure he's back for a Starlight Kid tag match, is that you are seeing New Japan and Stardom highlights their two new top stars in that match.
Yeah.
Together. Zach and Micah are leading the way into the future. Do I agree with one of those? No.
Big Micah guy, this guy. Anyways,
no.
Let's wrap up the show. We've gone 3 hours. Jesus Christ, we're insane. But one of the reasons we've gone 3 hours, not on purpose, but on accident, at the very least, is next week I won't be here. I'll be out of town for a wedding. Again, last wedding of the season, so not too much more. But I'll be out of town next week. So Scotty's in charge of the show. Whatever happens with the show, he'll let me know, I guess. I don't really know. Scotty, do you have plans for next week?
Nope.
Perfect. Do you plan to do a Ring Post Radio next week?
I'll try to figure it out, but I'm not gonna lie. Week off sounds nice.
Sure. The stuff. I mean, yeah, it would be a Wrestledream review, King of Pro Wrestling preview. I got All Japan matches. I got Noah's Stardom Navigation Premium is their big show in Noah.
Oh yeah.
Title match.
On Monday.
Masakimiya. Yes, same thing as King of Pro Wrestling. Both on Monday.
Everything's on Monday, so it's like
All Japan's got 2 shows over the weekend. I believe have title matches.
Title match?
Yeah. But I don't think they have Triple Crown title matches on the shows.
When's Rena Yabe's title match?
That's what I don't remember. I don't think they're on either of this weekend, but I also don't know.
You're fired.
Look, man, I just write down things in a calendar. I don't what am I expect to know things? And then also Royal Quest will be week following. But speaking of, so I won't be here on the 13th. I will be here not on the 20th, but the 21st. We're going to do a Ring Post Radio Monday, not next week, but 2 weeks from now. So if you are waiting my return, it will be Monday the 21st.
I'll be awaiting your return.
I know you will. I know you are. You're a big fan. Me and Micah. Yeah, that's what the dealio here is. So we appreciate. Sorry for the inconvenience, I guess, if that is an inconvenience for you. But we'll hopefully have a show out next week, depending on Scotty. And the week after that, we'll have one on Monday after I return from Maryland. Renayabe is not wrestling on the 12th on Saturday. The main event is the Saitos versus Hokuto Omori and not Bear Storm.
Quiet?
No. It's Bear Storm is the Google Translate thing. His name is Karashi. Is that his name?
Oh yeah, Kuma. Yeah,
Kuma Arashi. And then there's the semi-main event of the World Junior Heavyweight Title match. Naruki Doi versus Dan Tamura is the semi-main event there on the 12th. The 13th is it's in Japanese. Translate this. It's going to be main event is the Asia Tag Team titles: Musashi and Seki Yoshioka versus Rising Hayata and Yuma Anzai. If you can believe it. So yeah, that's that show. Yuma Anzai might be holding a title. Match of the week, Scotty, plugs. Let's get them out of the way real quick so we can get out of here before that 3-minute mark or 3-hour mark. Jesus.
Follow me at Scotty Wrestling on Twitter.
He's dead. Listen to his voice to everybody. He's
YouTube.com/@Scotty Wrestling has no new content, but you can subscribe there anyways. And that's it. Match of the week. Right. Give me a second. David Finlay versus Yoshihashi.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. Great match.
I had to spend this whole week just making sure I caught up on all this nonsense.
Yeah.
So that was my match of the week.
What'd you think of Hanari Shingo?
I didn't watch it.
Oh, okay. I would also recommend watching it, but
I meant to watch it if that matters. But
sure.
That was the one match I didn't get to, and you had to say it.
The best match that I watched this week that we didn't talk about. Scotty, guess the year?
1985.
Ooh, close. 1980. This is Afa and Sika versus Tito Santana and Ivan Putski for the WF Tag Team titles in Madison Square Garden. The Wild
Alrighty.
Villains. They're on the ballot. Yeah, popped on
They
the ballot.
are on the ballot.
Yeah, you should know.
I didn't look at it yet.
Well, if it is ballot season over the Observer, so my plug here will be check out the ballot on patreon.com/kind-of-pod. You can listen to every single episode.
That's how I'm making all my decisions.
You can listen to every single episode that we've released so far on the $5 tier. You can also listen to all of them if you subscribe on a $7-day, I should say, free trial. You can probably get it all, squeeze it all in that time period. So why not sign up for a 7-day free trial? Join us, listen to the ballot, listen, get your thoughts on the Observer Hall of Fame since the ballot is officially out this week, and get your thoughts on who you think should be in the Observer Hall of Fame, especially if you're a voter listening to this. Why not? Go check out the ballot. You can get the 7-day free trial, listen to everything, listen to thoughts, not just from me, but from a bunch of people around this wrestling community. So go check out the ballot. If you want to hear a free sample, we really already released the Cody Rhodes episode that I did with Scott here for free on this feed and on YouTube. So go check that out. Subscribe to the podcast, Ring Post Radio, wherever you get this podcast. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you're watching us on YouTube. We're only going to move to YouTube, I think, moving forward. So we'd appreciate, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube to watch Ring Post Radio live on YouTube. But at the very least, make sure you subscribe on the podcast app. Make sure you hear that audio version. I certainly will, probably next week. Hopefully next week. We'll see. Probably. Other than that, follow me at Ryan Knightsey. There's nothing on my Twitter. Follow Scotty at Scott E Wrestling. Only if you want Joshi news, but really that's, as he said, that's pretty much it. I should stop plugging Twitter because who gives a shit about Twitter? But follow at Kind-of-Pod, a great Twitter account that everyone should follow to get all your news and notes and stuff about the other podcasts on our network, like Jumping Knee Pod, like Ichiban Sweetcast, not Okada Shorts, Ichiban Sweetcast, a bunch of great shows on our network. So go check that out. I've been Ryan. That has been Scotty. I'm starving. I'll talk to you all later. Goodbye, everybody.